That's right, we're back. Coming back. More fun things to talk about. Hope's ready for this convo. All right. What's going on, Reds? Dinner was fantastic. Queen Die's ready for a smoke break already. Hey, oh, look at that. Let's fix that. Holy cow. There we go. Welcome back. Hope everybody had a little bit of dinner, whatever they did for an hour. Hey, Chrissy. Yeah, no, I went and had dinner with Lovey. I don't know. We have to figure out a cool nickname for her. Yeah, had a great dinner. It was kibasi. It was fantastic. And the, I don't know, the test kitchen of cabbage. I've decided that I do like, no, Will, we're not doing Facebook, just doing YouTube right now. And my apologies to everyone over on Facebook. Hopefully somebody's letting them know that we're live over on YouTube, but, Handsy face, and we missed you too. Thank you very much. This beautiful flower. No, right now, just YouTube, just YouTube. And, maybe we'll get back to the point where we can do, YouTube and Facebook together. Sean, the goat said that somebody said they sent a balloon my way, and I sorry I missed it. I was totally I love it. Yeah, the balloon has been quite the controversy, hasn't it? Right? My favorite, and that may be our first Tucker Carlson challenge. Might be his take on the balloon and what that was all about, and the idea that was floated that Trump had balloons flying over the U.S. too, which appears to be bullshit. So, but you know, you gotta attack Trump somehow. So that's what they're doing. My Lanta Joe, she popped it. I bet you did. I you know, somehow that would not surprise me. It would not surprise me whatsoever. Wrong button. I gotta get my little buttons straightened out. Okay, checking that out. But yeah, we got Joe coming on in less than an hour. I'm not sure how we're going to handle that. We may just do our conversation and maybe listen to Joe. You know, gosh, I hope it's not 99 red balloons. I really hope it's not. That would be tragic. I don't think that'd be good for anyone, right? Who Queen Di? Who was it that sang that song? Douglas Tucker is fantastic. Thank you for asking. Here we're gonna bring Tucker back, but we gotta put him in a better spot. Even though he looks the wrong way over here, but he's safer there. He's safer there. I think I have a Tucker button. No, I don't. I thought I made a button for Tucker, but I haven't added him into the box yet. Laura Woodside just became a member. Thank you, Laura. I appreciate the support in a big way. I truly do. All of you who decided to stick in there and stay, it was really quite something to see the support. And so many people sent letters and emails, and there was sort of a commonality in a lot of the emails. Was people were just as fed up with the nonsense and the crap that was happening online as I was, and we're happy to have that little break too. And again, that was, a lot of the support that was coming in, and the kind words, and it means a lot. And it's the one thing that I miss the most about not being with you guys and having these conversations and having some fun and doing what we do is all of you that support and enjoy the content and enjoy what it is that I've been doing, and it's appreciated. Queen Di, thank you. Queen Di, did you catch earlier what we were talking about with the book banning and what's been going on? This was a conversation that started off last night in another chat that involved G. Abbott and Baby having this conversation. And then Hope and I started the conversation to give you a little something to think about while we were having dinner. Was it PETA? I don't remember. Summer Blossom, missed you too. How are you? All the ladies with the flowers and their pictures and whatnot. I'm telling you, my phone's blown up. Look at it. Let me pull this up. Let me show you the tweets that have been coming out. Let's see here. Let me see if I can pull them up. Down to the LA scanner. This is an account that I follow that has really sort of done a great job. Has done a great job with oh gosh. I'm gonna switch this over. Sorry. Has done a great job with pulling from Los Angeles incident feeds from the scanner. But 37 seconds ago, man armed with a sword. Um, 6 minutes ago, EMS rolling for a call of a person shot at a bus stop. Male not conscious, not breathing, shot in head, crime scene going up. You're going to see some similarities here with another one that came out a little bit ago. Here's a man with a gun, Compton, 108th Compton. Robbery just occurred. Suspect brandished a handgun, took money from the public storage. That's kind of interesting. Like, why would you rob a public storage? Like, how much cash are they going to have on hand? But anyway, maybe they knew something the rest of us don't. This was the one that came up during dinner that I was sort of surprised about. EMS rolling on a person shot, female shot herself, and now she's running in the street. LAPD has woman shot, blocking traffic, crime scene going up. She's conscious and breathing, shot in head. So I guess sort of like a good sign in there, but LAPD following a stolen vehicle, foot pursuit now, suspect hiding underneath a vehicle. But, take it for what it's worth. It's one of those things where you kind of like yesterday, I was like, wait, is it a full moon? Because there was so much going on and so many big incidents, it seemed like. And I just kind of wonder what's going on. LAPD had to split up the victim's father and the suspect after a child was taken during a carjacking in Van Nuys about an hour ago. Child safe and suspects in custody. Wow. Father went after the guy. You blame him? Not at all. I'm surprised that was caught on the Channel 5 helicopter, is what it looks like. And there's a pit bull running loose down the street there 3 hours ago. There was a pursuit. What was that, earlier today? No, it was yesterday. It was yesterday. There was a really sort of exciting pursuit that happened. But yeah, it seems like there's been a lot going on and a lot of craziness, and it seems to be getting crazier every day. And maybe it's just because social media is picking up on it. Maybe it's always been just that crazy. It's hard to tell because I'm not there and I don't have the scanner on. And there's some scanner options. And look, here's the thing. Crazy. Dinner was fantastic. The goat made, I should call her the unicorn because she's more of a unicorn than a goat. Greatest of all time. She's definitely a unicorn. She made kibasi and cabbage and some green beans. A ton of garlic. There was so much garlic. I loved it. Like, I'm like reeking up garlic right now. Thank God you guys can't tell. But it was garlic ridden and not sriracha, Thai chili, Thai sweet chili she used. Oh, it smelled so good and it tasted delicious. You had to miss the live on Discord earlier, Randy. I wasn't on Discord, but I did use Discord and do an ad. Everyone, hey, I'm going live at 4:30. So that's what that was. I thought, I'd give the Discord the shout out and let them know what was going on. But I've decided to fully embrace WYSIWYG. The idea of WYSIWYG, the concept of what you see is what you get, because that's me, man. It's me and it's who I am, I guess, because I I get distracted. I'm into a lot of things, but in that, before we get on to sort of carry on this conversation about book banning and whatnot, I was going to show you this. One of my new favorite channels. And this guy's doing a great job. He's been going out and doing some live streaming. Actually, there's a couple interesting ones. Let me share these with you. Because they're both. Wait, is he not live right now? Why wouldn't he be? No, he is. He is. So let me. So this is LA Captain. His sub numbers are going up. He's got 3.5 thousand now. Pardon me. I had like something stuck in my throat. It's cabbage or sausage. Pardon me. Most definitely cabbage. But So what he does, which is really interesting, is you can see on the screen he's got 3 lives going right now. So usually he breaks his lives down to fire department, and then he's actually out live streaming, and then he's got the police scanner going. So like the police scanner feed, let's make sure this comes up here for you. Could you guys not? No, you could hear me. Shoot, I did something weird. Okay. I screwed something up on my board. Oh, I got the sound turned down here. I think I did this from earlier when we were playing around with it.
Highland Mall security for an officer holding battery suspect incident 3174 and RD 645.
So what he's got going on here is
on incident 2072 are able to clear and handle
is he's got
Ramon Medina, common spelling, phone
he's
number
got one of the cleanest
5983.
He's got one of the cleanest feeds I've ever heard on a scanner. And what he's doing is in this left corner here, he's running a piece of software on a computer which pulls his scanner feed in, and then is able to use that and create a key screen. He's also running, the first time I've seen him do this, he's got the Eagle Cam up there, and then he's got Pulse Point running, which Pulse Point is a LA fire
1194
incident. So it's Los Angeles Fire, LA County. You can pull up lots of different services. And he's showing that in the top right. And then he's got this other live stream down here, which I think is from where he's sitting in this one right here. Let's see what he's got going on. Because he was out and about driving around yesterday.
Right 754 6793.
Southeast Division.
Okay, so he's pulling an individual channel specifically, probably to where he's sitting and watching that. So,
seems to be one of the busiest.
but I don't know how I stumbled on him, but his channel, where was that description? Is about he's a charter fishing boat captain, which I found really interesting, and he's a police scanner enthusiast, and he's doing a great job with what he started. And like the other day, I got an alert on my phone, and I went to his channel, and I could hear what was going on because he was on top of it. And so for me, he's become sort of my link to LA and being able to listen to the scanner, because he and I would be listening the same way, as when I was there, and I had my antenna on top of the roof and was able to pick everything up. So, and then here's his third channel, and he's running all these simultaneously through the same channel, the way YouTube's set up now. So this is all fire monitoring. So LAFD operations, and then it scans to the next channel and scans around. It's going to listen. So that's what you're seeing at the bottom of the screen shifting. And then you'll get this little meter here that comes up when it picks up something. But right now, you've got Refuge Garbage Fire at 516. So that's about 4 minutes old. There's the address. And the 2 fire trucks, Engine 289 and Truck 289, are responding to that. And then through Pulse Point, the different colors represent the stages at which they're in and whether they've been cleared from the scenes or not. I don't remember what red and black represents, but he's doing a great job. This is LA Captain. I would, if you're interested in what's going on in LA, I would say give him a subscribe, because it's always running. But he's doing something interesting. And then the other one that I wanted to share with you is, let's see here, this KLW World News. We'll pull this up for just a second. He's been doing an interesting stream wall. I don't know what he's got up here in the left corner right this second. That might be DC actually. That might be Corinne's feed probably. Now that I think about it, you can't see the bottom, but he's got these ADS trackers up, and he's following certain planes on each one of these. He's got this overhead view of US bound, I would imagine they're military flights most likely because it's filtered out. Then he's following something specific here. I'm not sure. Northrop Grumman RC-48 Global Hawk is what he's tracking here. That's flying over DC. And a Boeing Stratotanker up at 24,000 feet. So he's got the two, but right now it looks as though one of them, I can't read, no call sign. Okay. So the no call sign. So this Stratotanker is flying over, it's kind of circling Gaithersburg. There's Frederick right there. Here's Hagerstown up here. Look, I can see my house from here. Sorry, that was bad. Feline probably, yeah, definitely. You held the pipe crooked. But yeah, so this KLM Word News, I found them when there were protests and things going on. In an interesting live stream, that's for sure. But he's been showing these maps a lot, so I just wanted to share that with you. There's some of my favorite things that I've been watching and seeing and all that. But yeah, nice. Cry 96 Tears, good. I think he deserves it. He's doing a good job. I think this will lead us into our discussion about books, because I think that this idea of the book banning and whatnot, this is from the Babylon Bee, 11 months ago. Some of you may have seen this. I had not seen this. Let me cue this up here. We'll bring this in. Here. This will be fun. Do a little share here. So this is from the Babylon Bee, and this is a fun little clip. Let's watch. I cropped it a little too much here. Let me know if you've seen this one before.
What seems to be the problem, officer?
You've been driving in the carpool lane for the past 3 miles. Alone.
Alone? Well, you should know that my pronouns are they, them. So we can drive in the carpool lane.
I got a driver out here
Look
in
at
the
the-
carpool lane.
look
Says
at the-
pronouns are they.
Excuse me.
Let me go back. He's talking into his wireless microphone. For anybody who doesn't recognize what that is, it's kind of funny. Look here. See it? It's a Sennheiser wireless microphone unit. So the microphone cable there, and it's like they don't have the budget for the props, but he's making it work as an actor, and I just noticed that too. I didn't notice that before, but kind of fun. Use what you got. It's a shitty, look at what look at the cop outfit. It doesn't even
It says
Anyway,
the pronouns are
they're doing the
they.
best they can. But watch.
Excuse me, her?
All right, let's just get your license and registration, please, ma'am. Ma'am, you. Can I say you?
You want me to provide photo ID?
Can I say
Racist
you?
much?
Okay, how about just a vaccine card then?
Yeah, no problem. Got all my medical records right here.
I love that.
We were
I love that. The I lost my cursor. Where'd it go? Yeah, I totally lost my cursor. Why can't I find my darn cursor? Where did it go? There it is. There it is. No, Peter Panda, that is also from the same that's a guy from LA named Siaka who's in that one. Very funny as well. No, this one, I don't know how I stumbled on this today, but you know, the ID was racist, but the carrying around of all of the medical records is my favorite. There's more favorites coming. But
boosted 7 times. One for each of us. Anyway, it's all there. Are we free to go, sir?
Wait. I'm sorry. Did you just assume my gender? It's actually offensive to look at somebody and assume by their appearance that they are a man or a woman.
Man or woman? Now you're implicitly perpetuating the oppressive societal construct of the gender binary onto me, a victim of violent police aggression.
Please stop yelling. Verbal attacks are violence, which is triggering.
the hands, I'm telling you, the hands get me every time. Like, that's the clapback thing. And you guys know me. I am not a cool person. I don't get all the cool shit. You know, I don't get the cool kid talk. And I see this and I go, oh yeah, that was part of the cool kid talk.
Trigger? Are you gonna shoot me? I literally can't even.
Don't you mean we?
Yeah, we literally can't even.
Saying you can't do something is ableist and mocks people that actually have a mental or physical disability.
We have a mental disability.
Well, I'm 1024th Navajo, and you're lucky that I'm giving you a fine and not kicking you off my ancestral land that you white colonizers stole from my people.
You can't find we. That money funds police departments.
This is just a who can outwoke who. Which is funny because like I see where the book banning thing is sort of both. Like, you know, we fight for racial equality while simultaneously being racist. And it's like Babylon Bee, no matter what you think of them, they figure out a way to sort of point out the ridiculousness of all of this nonsense. And that's what I like about them.
I need backup at the 405 in Santa Monica. They're getting away.
What? They? How many of them are there? Who's getting away?
They are!
I'm sorry. I'm laughing because I'm like, gee, Abbott, I know you wish you could make videos that good. And I think one day you can with a little bit of practice and work. I just saw your latest and you know, we were talking about books and book banning and I seem to remember having a conversation with you. I hope you're around. I seem to remember having a conversation with you and Telescope and you know, I called out Telescope once for attacking people who aren't as smart as he is. He's clearly educated. Doesn't make him right, but you know, he's attacking people's education while simultaneously was arguing for you know, better schools. So I you know, I kind of go back to that because I'm like, oh yeah, you know, these guys, they want to insult everyone's intelligence because not, you know, everyone's not as intelligent as they are. So therefore, you know, they've got to have that battle. And that what I would say absurdity to demonstrate absurdity. That's a great way of putting it. Grow better. It truly is what it is, right? And that's what I think this absurdity with these books and the book banning. And we'll get back to that. I was going to say, just in case, if you want to join me for that discussion, there is a link where you can come on stream with me and we can have a little chit chat. For those of you who are concerned that want to have a nice, peaceful chat, I have a little something special for you. Let me pull it up here. Pull it up here. Because now that apparently I've lost it. It's here. You know, we can do one of two things. We can either have a nice chat on the we can have a nice chat on the bench. Let's see. We'll go that way. We can have a nice chat on the bench. You know, you can be in the little window over there on the side. Or, you know, if two of you want to, you know, have a chat on the bench and work through an issue, you're more than welcome to. We can put you on the bench. Or we can go full boxing ring. Dealer's choice. But we got the boxing ring that you can go in and box it out. The books is Truth Teller. So, or, you know, we can just bring in and just shoot the shit like adults. But, you know, your choice. I leave that up to you. You're more than welcome to make a request of the boxing ring or the park bench. Uh-oh. What did I miss? Feline, you like that? The goat was the one that said the boxing ring might be a little too, you know, divisive. She thought maybe the park bench might be a nicer place to have a conversation. I get that. I agree. And so I made the park bench, and, you know, it's funny because you can, you know, depending if it's, you know, I've made it so that you can have men, women, you know, two women, you know, two women of different dress categories, or, you know, two men. Hey, Hope. Look at that. It just threw you right in here. Hey, wait, we got to fix that. we gotta fix that, because I didn't know here. I didn't know you were popping in. You just all of a sudden showed up. Look at that. Now I got to hide this one here. Got to hide that one because it's you and me. But if it wasn't you and me, then it would be what do you call it? I can move myself over there a little bit. Let me see if I can fix you. I can't quite move you up there. Oh wait, there it is. But see, I think you did that. I think you fixed it. But for some reason, this one's not see camera, guest Hope. Okay, so change it that way, and now you're in there that way. Yeah, there you go. Okay. See, now we're having a conversation on the park bench. What do you want to talk about? You want to talk about books still?
How was your dinner?
My dinner was fantastic. How was your dinner?
I'm disappointed there's no pictures.
You know, I didn't even think about it. I was too excited to eat it. It smelled so good that I just, yeah. Grace,
I
that
just
is
said silk.
absolutely 100% true. You acknowledge what I do love. That is what WYSIWYG is about. Toys and gadgets. Mr. Gadget. That's my shtick. Are they playing footsie? Kind of are. I see there's that little, there's a little bit of what is that? Sexual tension going on there in the footwork. I didn't even think about that when I made that, Troy. Tanya, we had kielbasa. The unicorn calls it kibasi, and cabbage and green beans. So it was delicious.
I might have to
Chrissy
call
says-
her olive oil because she's cooking.
Call her olive oil.
Yeah, olive oil.
Yeah, see, I think olive oil, and I think of
From Popeye.
Popeye, yeah. She's not an olive oil by any means. She is a goat / unicorn. The goaticorn.
Ah.
Definitely a unigoat. Somewhere in there. I don't know. So mashed potatoes, gotta have mashed. That's interesting. We did no starch tonight, but that's a great idea. I've been dying to make these smashed potatoes and smashed what do you call it? Brussels sprouts. Sorry, my Lanta Joe, that's probably not ever going to happen. So. Uh-oh, who's Kitty?
Pixel.
That's Pixel. How cute. How old's Pixel?
This is Pixel. Pixel is 8, I believe.
8. Okay.
She was a rescue.
She was a rescue. Nice. Good times. Picture of a unigoat. That's a good one. Let's see if we can find a unigoat on Google. Oh, there is such a thing. How weird is that? Let's see here. Hang on, let me Okay.
I like it, Unigoat.
This is what I got when I searched unigoat. I had no idea there was like something there, but she definitely doesn't look like that. But it is cute though. Here I thought I was being fun and making up something new, but of course. WYSIWYG's always a day late on that. Oh, is it from Despicable Me? Is that? I see that pop up and I'm like, huh. Yes.
Kind of looks like it.
It's a unicorn goat, a unigoat. Here's like a pillow. Hang on. It won't zoom. Why won't it zoom? Any other web page would have zoomed, but anyway, there's the unigoat. This one's interesting with all the colors on it. Kind of reminds me of Rooster a little bit there. Rooster's more like this purple stuff here.
That's
I'm gonna get her a phone case. This is sort of interesting. This one down here. The unigoat. It's just the goat with
that
the
one
one.
kind of looks like a cowlick, though.
Yeah. No, it kind of does, doesn't it? But yeah, it's interesting. Who would have known? It's amazing what you can learn from just saying something silly. I'm all right with that. Where were we? So, yeah, the Unigoat made an awesome dinner. This is a rabbit hole I wasn't prepared to go down. Huh. This thing over here seems almost swollen baby fat. What?
That's weird.
Very strange.
There's a minion with it.
A minion? What is that? Transparent Unigoat, here to wish you well.
Nope, I don't want any part of that one.
Gary the Unigoat? I don't know. You know, hey. To each their own, I suppose, right? Allow very creative.
Slightly disturbing at times.
Slightly disturbing at times, yeah. Cute, you know, the one kind of looks, you know, confused and sorry, I can't. I have plans with my Unigoat. Okay. Long-eared goat, Tanya says.
Fainting goats, pygmy goats.
Yeah. What's this?
That is a great question.
I don't know. I think it looks more like a piglet than it does a goat, but man, like, oh, this is like that stuff that what's his name makes. Game developer guy.
Oh.
He's into all that stuff. Oh, this is cute. That's actually a great photograph right there.
It's really cute.
It's really cute. It's a donkey. We're not going to have the conversation about the difference between a donkey and a jackass. We've already had that conversation, Hope. I know you and I didn't, but bipolar. And then, like, somehow we got from Unigoat to whatever this is. Fascinating.
Not
Salt and pepper
sure.
shakers? No.
Oh.
What was that?
What?
I don't know. I heard something crash. Sounded like behind you.
Oh. No, nothing crashed. It was my neighbor shutting the door.
So this is a Unigoat. It's got one, what is that, a horn, I guess? Anyway, I digress. That doesn't work. That works. That works. I forget where we're at. Trying to use my buttons, but they're not working so well. So should we get back to this conversation on books and burning books?
Yes. Well, hopefully banning books, not burning them.
Well, yeah, I don't think they're. The claim's not been made yet. Hope that they're burning books, but I give the left time to make that claim. Did you watch any of the congressional hearings today from the House floor. They were talking about immigration.
I watched some of the border.
Some of the border conversation. Yeah, the two border agents that they had invited to have that conversation. Yeah, it was. What'd you think? Kind of interesting?
It was kind of interesting. It was very interesting from people in the chat because I forget where I was watching, but anyway, people were saying like, oh, like they lied when they said like laws hasn't changed. It was like, no, laws had not changed, but policy had changed as to how to handle different immigrants, and it amazes me sometimes to see how people don't differentiate between laws and policy and the way certain government does certain things because of not knowing their background in political science, basically.
Right. Yeah, and the Democrats in Congress use the idea that everyone's seeking asylum as a catch-all for everyone who comes across the border. For some reason, that won't stay on there, but for some reason, that's where they keep going. And I am sort of appalled. I am appalled by the dishonesty of the people who are elected to represent us in making this claim. Most who come don't have an asylum claim, but that's what they're using in order to. I don't know, I don't know what their goal is. They're not even honest about that, truly, I don't think.
What has amazed me about this administration, like so far this year at least, is their unity on different topics. Because like once one starts on a certain topic on whatever committee it is, then they all get on board with that same thing, and they all gear the conversation towards that one thing, whether it be asylum, whether it be like voting for the same Speaker of the House 15 times. They all get on board with it.
Yeah. The Democrats have an ability to truly get on the same page. And that's something conservatives don't ever do, because it's very much an individual's party, right? We've kind of, I think, talked about that before a little bit, but they tend to have support, and they'll stand and they'll do the chants, and they will, get in lockstep with what they want, and they will get everybody on board, and they rally the troops, and you see it everywhere. I'm sure we'll see it tonight. My favorite part is like when the Democrats will stand and applaud something, and all the Republicans will sit down, and vice versa. And it's even the things that you would expect that they should support, because it's just America. They'll still be. Phyllis, I absolutely agree with you. I'm trying to remember who I was listening to today. Basically, they were supporting modern day slavery with their argument for the jobs and the field workers, and I was sort of surprised, like, and that's for me where I always sort of get lost in this argument is if you were really about people, you would protect even those who are undocumented, working at, below normal wages, in this country. And
Like
it's we
like
see that happen all the
sharecroppers.
time. Sure. Yeah. they do it under the claim that, well, you're not going to go out there and work out there. Yeah, I would. Problem is that, we don't sacrifice ourselves, and we believe that you get paid for the work that's being done and fair wages. So.
Right.
Who's calling in, truth teller? Here's the link. Sorry.
Would you like to support MonkeyWorks directly?
So it's air traffic. I don't see where MonkeyWorks is live right now. I see it's live Friday live. Everything's Friday live. So we must only live stream on Friday. I'll have to check that out. That's interesting. I'll add that to my subs there. I like his artwork. Actually, let me copy this. Duplicate this. Change this over here. Okay. So I realize I'm bouncing back and forth, and if I just copy it and paste it, we can go over here and show you this one here. MonkeyWorks.
I've heard that about MonkeyWorks.
Have you? This is their. He looks like a special ops guy, military little military background. MonkeyWorks, but. Little jumping in the old internet tonight. So I see what he's got going on. So he was tracking. That's pretty awesome tracking that he's got. I don't know what this app is that he's using, but Spyglass, Plane Spotter.
Have the same technologies that we are both working on. So, yeah. And that's
Wow, this is high tech. Powder, thank you very much for this heads up.
The one that's up over the middle of the
What a
United
cool piece of software that looks like. It almost looks like a video game.
Is insane as to what they can gather. So,
All right.
Let's talk heavies for a minute, then we'll get back into the balloons. All right. You can see.
Man, talk about some beard envy. Oh, you can't see it. I didn't realize. Oh, because I hit big screen. There it goes. I must have hit the wrong. I did not even realize it was doing that.
Oh, wow.
I got a little beard envy going on. He's got quite the beard. But look at that map, the way it moves around, and all the three-dimensional aviation, and you could see how You could see how the planes tracked and moved around. That's pretty awesome. All right, well.
Wow.
So.
All right, I keep an eye on that. That's a lot of fun. That's an awful lot of fun. So, go back to this one. Going back to the books. You ready for a little book talk?
I am. I used to work in books.
Really?
Yep.
Schools or like bookstores?
Neither. I was the go-between. So I was the one getting them into the bookstores.
Gotcha. Okay. So between the publishers and the stores lies hope.
Yes.
Okay. That's good. Yeah, it works out perfect. So this is still Slaughterhouse-5. Charles Owensboro, Kentucky School Library, because of foul language and a section depicting a picture of an act of bestiality, a reference to magic fingers attached to the protagonist's bed to help him sleep, and the sentence, quote, "The gun made a ripping sound like the opening of the fly of God Almighty." That's pretty descriptive, but, you know, I don't think it's worth all the outrage. But that was 85. I don't know. I thought we were a little tougher back then, but I could see where people get, upset about certain things, but...
It would depend on what kind of school it was, too. If it was like a Catholic school or...
Sure, but, do you feel like... I don't think that the Banned and Challenged classics... like even this Banned in Italy, Yugoslavia, and burned in Nazi bonfires in 1933, Call of the Wild by Jack London. That book is on the list. It doesn't say why. Go Tell It to the Mountain by James Baldwin. Challenged as a 9th grade summer reading option in Prince William County, Virginia. Because the book is, quote, rife with profanity and explicit sex. Sounds awful. Sounds like it's inappropriate for children when you put it like that.
Right.
All the King's Men, Robert Penn Warren. Challenged at Dallas, Texas Independent School District, High School Libraries, 1974. Okay. But somehow this book is back on that list. And the point that I'm getting to is I feel like this list of books, the 176 banned books, is a group trying to make these books equivalent to some of the sexualized and controversial reading that is being questioned in its appropriateness in the public school system that has led Governor DeSantis in Florida to get this law, which let me pull that law up because that was important, and I think we need to
I think it was interesting. It said like Lord of the Rings was burned in front of a church and as satanic, but if you know the background of Tolkien, like it wasn't like that at all. You can actually say it was a way to get Christ into different schools.
Right. And it's funny because you mentioned Tolkien, and then I'm like, well, you've got J.K. Rowling right now and this new video game that's coming out. And the same people who don't want these books banned in schools are trying to ban her video game, or the video game based on wizards, as they call it, right? So it's like everybody's fighting everyone over something right now. last night, one of the websites I found was this this one here. Let me try to fix this a little bit. Why does it want to do that? So this is a single page website, which I found really interesting. Just the website's called flgov.com, and it's a one-page website, it appears, and it just says Stop Woke Act. The Stop the Wrongs to Our Kids and Employees Act will be the strongest legislation of its kind. Schools Protecting Our Teachers and Students codifies the Florida Department of Education's prohibition on teaching critical race theory in K through 12 schools. Prohibits school districts and colleges and universities from hiring woke CRT consultants. Corporations protecting our employees and workplaces. Protect employees against a hostile work environment due to critical race theory training. Consequences for employees and teachers to fight back. Provides employees, parents, and students a private right of action. What does that mean? Curious about what.
Maybe that allows for them to bring lawsuits against them if they try to. Like if a certain school or corporation tries to do so.
Yeah. It's interesting that's the second, because I just did Woke Law Florida as a search. The first one that comes up is this First Amendment Encyclopedia, which isn't quite. Maybe it'll have the link to the law, because MTSU, presented by the John Siegenthaler Chair of Excellence in First Amendment Studies. Not sure how quality this website is, but it was the first return in Google. Wrong to our kids and employees. Well, they kind of went a long way to get to the Stop Woke Act. I'll admit that. Law prohibiting teaching certain concepts related to race. The prohibited teachings were that members of one race, color, national origin, or sex are morally superior to members of another race, color, national origin, or sex. Prohibited teachings were that members of one race, color, national origin, or sex are morally superior to members of another color, national origin, or sex. So it prohibits you from teaching that. A person, by virtue of his or her race, color, national origin, or sex, is inherently racist, sexist, or oppressive, whether consciously or unconsciously. So they're claiming that this pamphlet that we were just reading came from DeSantis's office. So it says November 2022, U.S. District Judge Mark E. Walker from the Northern District of Florida issued a preliminary injunction preventing enforcement of the law. He concluded in Purnell versus Florida Board of Governors that the plaintiffs would likely prevail in the claim that the law violated the First Amendment because it discriminated against speech based on viewpoint and was too vague. Judge states, state cannot restrict viewpoints on curriculum. In analyzing decisions in Rosenberg versus Rectors and Visitors of the University of Virginia, 1995, a decision involving funding from student activity fees for student publications, and Garcetti versus Caballos, I think that's 2006, limiting First Amendment protections for speech by public officials made as part of their official duties. Walker ruled that neither decision had established that anything the professor said in the classroom was understood to be governmentally endorsed and therefore subject to government control under the government speech doctrine. He distinguished between, quote, the state's right to make content-based choice, end quote, in creating curricula from unfettered discretion in limiting a professor's ability to express certain viewpoints about the content of the curriculum as it has been set. Which, I get that, but we're talking about young kids. We're not talking about college, right? College is very different. You're over 18 at that point. You're sort of out of parental control when you go to college, aren't you? Except for those few rare occasions where somebody gets into college young because they're, extremely bright and, right? But most college age kids are over 18, aren't they? In fact, I think you have to be 18, don't you?
What you're reading, it doesn't differentiate between any schools, whether it be primary or elementary or middle school or anything. It just is stating verbatim, you're not allowed to do this in any education systems in Florida. Yeah, that's what it seems like to me, at least.
Right. This was talking about a specific decision, 1995.
If they're stating the University of Virginia, it would be college.
Yeah.
Especially if they're state-owned, because then they would receive state money. So if it was like a state college.
Sure. Walker observed that the decision had specifically recognized, quote, the strong predilection for academic freedom as an adjunct of free speech rights of the First Amendment. So I'm trying to find the actual law, which is 1486 or 1487, HR 7. Let me see if we go back here. Let's see what the ACLU has to say real quick. This is from November 29th, 2022. Oh, that's doing its thing there. Catch up on the... Troy says state of confusion. State of confusion.
Yeah, he hasn't even really started talking.
I love how these websites, the first thing they do is want money from everyone. That should be a huge flag to everyone.
Here. I'm gonna put it in chat.
Okay. Earlier this month, a federal judge blocked Florida from enforcing the Stop Wrongs Against Our Kids and Employees Act. It states colleges and universities. Florida is just one of over a dozen states across the country that have passed laws censoring decisions around race and gender in the classroom. And this is the first time the court has ruled this type of classroom censorship law is unconstitutional. So I just realized that there's sort of two things going on here, because what we were talking about last night on this panel was about children, small young children in classrooms, and the books that they're being shown and taught about sex and relationships and things that parents don't want them to be introduced to in schools. And this is very much sort of about the college and the colleges. And where did I put that article? I'll find it. Oh, I think I emailed it to myself. I stumble across all this stuff, and I know somehow it ends up being somehow important, but no.
One of the things is revising requirements for required instruction on the history of African Americans, authorizing instructional personnel to facilitate discussions and use curricula to address in age-appropriate manner specific topics, prohibiting classroom instruction and curricula from being used to indoctrinate or persuade students in a manner inconsistent with certain principles or state academic standards.
Gotcha.
That's from the bill language.
Right. Let me see. Maybe it's... Oh, it is. It was this Revolver article that I had here. So this article here I won't do it. Let me see if I can copy paste this. I just lost my cursor. It's the second time this has happened tonight where my cursor sort of disappears and all this stuff, and I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Just started happening.
Did you know that there are 10 major reasons why books are banned?
No, what would those be?
They are LGBTQ content, sexually explicit, profanity, racism, violence, religious viewpoint, sex education, suicide, drug and alcohol use, and nudity. Those are the 10 major reasons from the bannedbooks.org website, or bannedbooksweek.org.
And that, that sort of makes sense. I could see where, you could equate it to pornography at some point. It's just words. I get it. And just because, a book's in a library, it doesn't... It still comes down to the parents, right? That was kind of my point, is that it's different if just because a kid has something available to them doesn't mean they will necessarily find it on their own. But if they have an adult who is tasked with educating, that then it becomes the parent has a choice to make. Do I send my kid to public school to get the public school education, which will teach them things that I don't want them being taught, right? That's, I guess, sort of the, or, do I homeschool my kid and then have to take him to prom, which is embarrassing. Prom with your mom is not the way to go. Sorry. But how do you separate those two ideas? One of the ladies was like, well, the kids have access to the internet. They can look up porn all day long. Well, one, they shouldn't be able to. And two, it's quite possibly just bad parenting that you're using as an example. It's your responsibility as a parent to do your best job to guide your kids in the right direction. But if you feel as though pornography is something that's important to your child's growth, then I guess that's your right. But forcing that down the throats of all the other parents is not your right. So that to me, I think, is the difference. So
I mean, I've read some of the books that were on the list that we started going through, and like I can tell you, like reading those, like Lord of the Flies, for instance, like that was a very like visceral book. Like that should not have been on a 9th grade reading list, where a boy kills another boy after a plane crash and they all gang up on him. Like that shouldn't have been on there. But I mean, Beloved and Animal Farm, those are appropriate. Like I think that there at points there should be lines, but what those lines are murky, and they're different for every person. So that's why like there's lines. I mean, people have moved to ban certain books because they feel it's not appropriate for their kids. But I mean, at some points it can
Misty,
be like,
I agree with you.
Well, where do we stop then?
Right. Sure.
And then, like, to Misty's point, it's like they want to be able to think for themselves and make those own decisions. Where, I mean, yes, some parents are like that as well, where, you can read whatever you want, you can do whatever you want. And that's a different style of parenting where they would feel like their child's rights are being infringed upon because they're not able to get those books or read those books.
Yeah.
Or have that education in school.
I agree. And again, it's still sort of comes down to the parents supervising the learning, right? Every kid's going to be different. Every kid's going to learn at a different pace. Some kids are going to be able to handle more mature content than other kids. The gun debate and teaching children how to handle firearms has been extremely controversial. I would rather have a kid know how to properly handle a firearm if it came up, if they found one, whatnot, than to have it be that big no-no thing that they find and they fuck around with and somebody gets hurt. I'd rather teach my kid to know what it does, know why it does what it does, and how to keep the other kids away from making it do what it does, so that no one gets hurt and that an adult comes in and deals with it properly. So it's everything has its purpose, and some of these concepts are going to be too much for some kids. But again, it comes down to the parents knowing and understanding what is being taught. And parents are clearly learning that there's things being taught to their children that they don't want them taught. And I think they should have that right to stand up and say, this is not okay. This is not part of the curriculum. And you're taking it upon yourself to push an agenda that some parents disagree with. And those are the books that are being banned, and these woke ideas, that there's more than two genders, and all the other nonsense that's being pushed, the mental illness that they're standing up to. And you can attack it claiming it's something else, but look, if how you want to handle yourself at home is one thing. Putting it in the schools and pushing on other people is another. So
I don't know if banning books is the correct way to go about it, but I mean, it is every parent's right to be able to say, my parent,
it's not really banning books, right?
That.
It's not saying no one can have the books. It's just saying that in the school, this is not something that's going to be taught and left in the hands of the kids that the parents feel it's inappropriate, right? We're not burning the streets. We're not burning every copy of the book in the street.
Right.
Somewhere in this list there
should also be like, if these.
Go ahead.
If there was a different, like, if you would say that your student would not participate in a certain lesson, or this shouldn't be taught, and they would go ahead and do it, and if it was okayed by the school department and it wasn't banned and you were still against it, you should be able to go to that certain department or school and say, is there an alternative lesson that can be taught for, or my student can do, so that they don't participate in it, but they would still get this grade that you would need for whatever.
Yeah. Linda Lou says The Chosen is on tonight. Oh, is it 9 o'clock? Oh, it's past that time. I totally forgot about. You reminded me.
Yeah, he's speaking.
Is
We're
he?
trying to.
Let me find a feed here. I totally forgot. We got talking and having so much fun that. I hope I get so easily sidetracked sometimes.
Look,
going down those rabbit holes.
This law will further unite all of America.
We missed something really good.
Kentucky over the Ohio River, built 60 years ago.
We missed something really
badly
good.
needed repairs. One of the nation's most congested freight
I'm
routes,
sure it wasn't.
carrying $2 billion worth of freight every single day across the Ohio River. And folks, we've been talking about fixing it for decades, but we're really finally going to get it done. I went there last month with Democrats and Republicans, and from both states, to deliver a commitment of $1.6 billion for this project. And while I was there, I met a young woman named Sarah, who's here tonight. I don't know where Sarah is. Is she up in the box? I don't know. Sarah, how are you? Well, Sarah, for 30 years, I learned, she told me she'd been a proud member of the Iron Workers Local 44, known as known as the Cowboys in the Sky. The folks who built Cincinnati's skyline. Sarah said she can't wait to be 10 stories above the Ohio River building that new bridge. God bless her. That's pride. And that's what we're also building. We're building back pride. Look, we're also replacing poisonous lead pipes that go into 10 million homes in America. 400,000 school and child care centers. So every child in America can drink the water instead of having permanent damage to their brain. Look, we're making sure that every community.
Hi, Linda. Glad you're here.
Community in America has access to affordable high-speed internet. No parent should have to
Bertie,
drive by
it's
McDonald's
important to listen.
parking lot
I said the
to
same
help
thing to
through the
people
phone
when
with
Trump was
online
president.
kids,
You know, if you don't listen
which
to him
many
yourself,
thousands are doing
you're
across
going to
the
get
country.
somebody else's take on it.
And when we do these projects, and again, I get criticized for this, but I make
But I
no
hope
excuses
people
for it.
see, you know,
We're gonna
I hope
buy
people see
American.
who
We're
this
gonna
guy
buy
is.
America. Folks, and it's totally.
I don't know what they do to get from
Still
bumbling
like all the
idiot
pageantry
to,
with the standing and the clapping. And
right?
But for too
You know,
long,
there's
past administrations,
a purpose
Democrat
to
and
that, though,
Republican,
right?
have fought to get around it.
It's like,
Not anymore.
you know, what is that purpose? It's to show, you know, support and unity.
Using federal infrastructure projects to be made in America.
I love that. Let's make more stuff in America.
Made in America.
Made in America. Who was it that shipped all our jobs out of the country to begin with? Shut down all the coal plants and the energy, independence that we had.
And on my watch, American
Joe's gonna
roads,
clap.
American
He's
highways are
doing
gonna be made with American
the
products as well. Folks,
he's ready to
our
clap.
economic plan is about investing in places and people that have been forgotten.
I think he's gonna
So many
whisper.
of you listen to me tonight.
Maybe. I thought he was gonna pray there for a second. He's got prayer hands
So many of you
going.
felt like you've just simply been forgotten. Made the economic upheaval of the past 4 decades. Too many people have been left behind and treated like they're invisible. Maybe that's
I
you
think he's
watching
got
from home.
toothpicks holding his eyes open.
Remember the jobs that went away. You remember
His
them,
eyes are
don't you?
black right now.
The folks at home remember them. You wonder whether
What's the cause of
past
that?
even exists anymore.
Besides not having light in his
Children
eyes.
get ahead without having to move away.
It would be the medication that he's
why
on because
I get
as
that.
he talks, his eyes will get
That's
lighter and
why
he'll
we're
become
building
more
an economy
coherent.
where no one's left behind.
Really?
Jobs are coming back. Pride is coming back.
Allegedly.
Because choices we made in the last several years. You know, this is, in my view, a blue-collar blueprint.
When's the
to
last time you
rebuild
saw
America,
Vice President
make
Harris?
a real difference in your lives at home. For example, too
Goodness.
many of you
Not
It's
long
been-
enough.
Yeah.
lay in bed at night like my dad did, staring at the
Yeah,
ceiling,
it's,
wondering what in God names happens if your spouse gets cancer,
He's gonna
or
get
your
left
child
behind.
is deadly ill, or something happens to you.
Oh goodness.
What are you going to get money to pay for those medical bills?
They're just
have to sell
putting the
house
camera on all
to
the.
get a second mortgage on it. I get it. I get it. With the Inflation Reduction Act that I signed into law,
It's a good
we're
hot
taking
take
on
there, hot
powerful
damn.
interest to bring healthcare costs down, so you can sleep better at night with more security. You know, we pay more for prescription drugs than any nation in the world. Let me say it again. We pay more for prescription
Betty and
drugs
Kevin,
than any
how are ya?
major nation on earth.
Good to be
For
back.
example, 1 in 10 Americans has diabetes. Many of you in this chamber do.
But some are Trump's old too. But can you like you can see the difference in the quality of life these two have had.
So they can literally stay alive. Insulin's been around for over 100 years. The guy who invented it didn't even patent it because he wanted it to be available.
Crazy. I don't remember that
Cost the
suit.
drug companies
You might have to send me a
$10 a
picture
vial to make that
so I get
insulin.
the full vision of what
Packaging
you're.
and all, you may get up to $13. But Big Pharma has been unfairly charging people hundreds of dollars, $400 to $500 a month, making record profits. Not
That's funny.
anymore. Not anymore.
Politicians will prove to you how ridiculous politics is.
So many things that
When
we
Trump
did
tried to do this,
are only now coming to fruition. We
they
said we
weren't.
were
They
doing this,
wouldn't
we
have
said
anything
we
to do with
passed
it.
a law to do
They
it.
hated Trump so much.
People didn't know because
But
the
now
law
that,
didn't take
you know,
effect until January 1 of this year.
they're the guy.
We capped the
Oh,
cost
look at
of
our great
insulin
idea.
At $35 a month for seniors on Medicare.
Right.
Like, this is a whole
And it could be the
new,
exact
like,
same
oh my
idea.
God, this is incredible. I can't believe they just thought of this.
I'm sure you're getting the same calls I'm getting.
America made in America?
There are
No.
millions of other
No.
Americans
Can't do that under
Yeah.
Trump.
who do not
But
or are not on
Biden,
Medicare,
sure.
including
Yeah.
200,000 young people.
Um,
Type 1 diabetes need this
Look at
insulin to stay
Joe.
alive.
Does he remind you of
Let's
Corn
finish the
Julio?
job this time.
I
Let's cap the
can't
cost
get
for
that image out of my
everybody
head.
at $35.
Who?
Corn Julio. Beavis and Butthead. I don't know if you the great Corn Julio.
I watched it.
Folks,
No, it was a bad bit of.
the big pharma's still going to do very well, I promise you all. I promise you,
Let's
they're
see if
going to
I
do
can-
very well.
Let me see if I can
This
find it.
this law also caps and won't even go into effect until 2025. Costs, out-of-pocket drug costs for seniors on Medicare at a maximum of $2,000 a year. You don't have to pay more than $2,000 a year, no matter how much your drug costs are. Because you know why? You all know it.
You all
Many
know
of
it.
You, like many
You
in
know
your
how
family,
how
have
to
cancer.
finish my
You know
sentences.
the drugs can range from 10,
You know, the thing.
11, 14, $15,000 for the cancer drugs. If drug prices rise faster,
Cancer
than
drugs are
inflation,
really
drug companies are
expensive.
going to have to pay Medicare back the difference.
They are super expensive.
We're finally giving Medicare the power to negotiate drug prices. Bringing down prescription drug costs doesn't just save seniors money, it cuts the federal deficit by billions of dollars.
Because that's what we're all about.
Lots of billions of dollars. Because these prescription drugs are drugs purchased by Medicare to keep their commitment to the seniors. Well, guess what? Instead of paying $400 or $500 a month, you're paying $15. That's a lot of savings for the federal government. And by the way,
the UPS
why would we
driver.
want that?
Got it.
Now some members here are threatening, and I know it's
I love
not
it.
official
Crazy.
party
You're the
position, so
best.
I'm going to exaggerate. But threatening to
It's-
repeal the Inflation Reduction Act.
I don't understand the
That's my
outfit.
coach.
You know, like
That's okay. That's fair. As my football coach used to say, lots of luck in your senior year. Make no mistake.
he's going off
Try
script.
anything to raise the cost of prescription jobs, I will veto.
Look,
Look, I'm pleased to say
why aren't the Republicans standing up?
for the health insurance
I know why
laws
Jerry
in
Nadler
history.
didn't stand up. It's hard for him to get up and
16
down. But
million people are enrolled in the Affordable Care Act. And thanks to the law
have you
signed
seen the
last
do-rag
year,
that
saving millions or saving $800
Maryland,
a year on the premiums. And by the way,
shoot,
that
that's
law was
Jamie Raskin's been wearing? No, I know he's got cancer. He was a character before
let's
cancer.
finish
So
the job and make these savings permanent. Expand coverage of Medicaid.
No, I saw
But
something
he's
he was on the other day, and I didn't see it at all.
yeah. Well, he's using this cancer thing to just
Inflation
make some
Reduction
sort of
Act is also
statement
the
in
most
Congress.
significant investment ever in climate change. Ever. Lowering utility bills, creating American jobs, leading the world.
And
to a clean
they're not
energy
clapping
future
because
under the
it's
devastating
how are they going to
aftermath
pay for
of
it?
record floods, droughts,
Like
storms,
that's what
and
not saying. It's
wildfires.
like we're going to do all
Right.
this stuff, but
Arizona,
how
Yeah.
are they going to pay for all these
all the way up to the
programs?
Right.
Canadian
Kevin
border.
McCarthy came out today and said we're
More
$31
timber has been burned
trillion
than I've
in
observed from
debt.
helicopters than the entire state of Missouri. And we don't have global warming? Not a
Right, and we
problem.
can't even pay that.
In addition to emergency recovery. from Puerto
No,
Rico to
and
Florida to
I forget
Idaho, we're
the
rebuilding for
trillions
long
of
term.
dollars in
New
interest
electric
that they're going to
grids
pay,
that are able to weather
which
major
I thought was
storms and not
interesting.
prevent those forest
Fetterman
fires.
doesn't know where he is.
Roads and water systems
He
expand
may
the next
not,
big flood.
Troy. He really may. He didn't look like he did. He looked like he had lost, like his head had shrunk like by half.
500,000 electric vehicle charging stations installed across the country by tens of thousands of IBW workers. And
Oh, maybe Bernie does have COVID. I didn't think about
save
that.
more than $1,000 a year with tax credits to purchase electric vehicles and
Even with
efficient
COVID, I won't wear a mask.
appliances, energy efficient appliances. Historic conservation efforts to be responsible stewards of our land.
OKC gave you a shout out.
Face reality. The climate crisis doesn't care if you're in a red or blue state. It's an existential
I
threat.
don't, I think.
We have an obligation, not to ourselves, but to our children.
Yeah, there, I
and
know
grandchildren
exactly
to
what you're
confront
talking about.
it. I'm proud of how
It's amazing.
how America at last is stepping up to the challenge. We're still going to need oil and gas for a while. But guess what? No, we do. But there's so much more to do. We got to finish the job. And we pay for these investments in our future by finally making the wealthiest and biggest corporations begin to pay their fair share. Just begin.
Says a guy who has never built a
Look, I'm
damn thing in his
capitalist.
life.
I'm a capitalist, but pay your fair share.
Yeah.
I think a lot of you at home agree with me and many people that you know. The tax system is not fair. It is not fair.
The tax system is
Good, a
not
whisper.
fair. The tax system is not fair. I don't know why I'm whispering, but it's not fair.
2020, 55 of the largest corporations in America, the Fortune 500, made $40 billion in profits and paid zero in federal taxes? Zero? Folks, it's simply not fair.
They ignore all the taxes
But
that they
now,
do pay.
because of the law I signed, billion-dollar companies have to pay a minimum of 15%. God love them. 15%. That's less than a nurse pays. And I need to be crystal clear. I said at the very beginning, under my plans, as long as I'm president, nobody earning less than $400,000 will pay an additional penny in taxes. Nobody, not one.
Troy, you're on a roll tonight.
But let's finish the job. There's more to do.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
We have to reward work, not just wealth. Pass my proposal for the billionaire minimum tax. You know, there's 1,000 billionaires in America. It's up from about 600 in the beginning of the term. But no billionaire should be paying a lower tax rate than a school teacher or firefighter. I mean it. Think about it. I mean, look. I know you aren't enthusiastic about that, but think about it. Think about it. Have
Look
you
at him as
noticed
he
big
looks at
old
the
disproportionate
Republicans and
profits?
says, "I know you guys aren't
Record profits.
enthusiastic about that."
Last year they made $200 billion in the midst of a global energy crisis.
So Joe used the same
I think it's
tax
outrageous.
benefits.
Why? They invested too little of that profit to increase domestic production. And when I talk
So
to
that him and
companies,
Jill
they say,
didn't
"We're
have to pay
afraid they're gonna
taxes
shut
on their
down
book
all the oil
deals,
wells and all the,
right?
oil
But,
refineries anyway, so why should we
you know,
invest in it?"
don't
I
talk
said,
about
we're
that.
going to need oil for at least another decade.
I'm glad you
Billionaires.
And
whispered
that's going to
that.
exceed. And beyond that, we're going to need it. Production.
What did I
They
miss
had, in
there?
fact, invested in the production to keep
I
gas
don't know.
prices down.
They all
Instead,
start
they
laughing.
used the record profits to buy back their own
Why
stock,
is that hand up?
rewarding their CEOs and shareholders. Corporations.
I've
even
never
look
never
real.
seen him move his
That's why I
hands so
propose we
slow.
quadruple the tax
What's
on
that
corporate
Tai
stock
Chi
buybacks
that they
and
do in the
encourage
park?
long-term-
You know, he's like doing Tai Chi throughout the entire.
They'll still make considerable profit.
It keeps them focused.
Let's
I
finish the
guess
job
I've
and
never
close the
seen
loophole
like
to allow
somebody
very
speak with
wealthy
their
to avoid paying
hands
their
in
taxes.
slow motion.
Instead of cutting the number of audits for wealthy taxpayers, I just signed a law to reduce the deficit by $114 billion by cracking down on wealthy tax cheats.
You're one of them, Joe.
Irresponsible. In the last 2 years,
He's confused. He doesn't know what to clap for or bitch, and he's just
by more than $1.7 trillion. The largest deficit reduction in American history.
surely it would be the slow clap.
American deficit went up 4 years in a row. Because those record deficits, no president added more to the national debt.
He seems, and I'm not trying to be mean, but he does seem half embalmed to me.
25% of the entire national
Yeah, he does.
It's maybe it's Botox injections that it seems that way, but like.
Check it out. How did
He
Congress
seems
respond
very
to that
mannequin-like. Like
They did
his
the right thing. They
features are
lifted the
very.
debt ceiling
It's
3
too
times
smooth.
without preconditions or crisis. They paid American bills to prevent an economic disaster to the country. So tonight I'm asking the Congress to follow suit. Let's commit here tonight to the full faith and credit of the United States of America will never, ever be questioned. So some of my Republican friends
He's getting booed, isn't he, Scott?
want to take the economy hostage. I get it. Unless I agree to their economic plans.
Your economic
All of you at
plans.
home should know what those plans are. Instead of making the wealthy pay their fair
Yeah,
share,
right, Tanya. There's something
some
off.
Republicans want Medicare and Social Security to sunset. I'm not saying it's a majority.
Wow.
Let me give you anybody who doubts it. Contact my office. I'll give you a copy.
Yeah, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Look at that outfit.
That means Congress.
She's like the snow princess.
Well, I'm glad to see you. No, I tell you, I enjoy conversion.
Conversion?
You know, it means if
He enjoys what?
the program's way. Look,
Conversion of what?
I don't know. That skipped on its own. I didn't have
the
anything.
idea is that we're not going to be moved into being threatened to default on the debt if we don't respond, folks.
That he did grow bigger, didn't he?
Yep.
So, folks, as we all apparently agree, Social Security and Medicare is off the books now, right? They're not to be stopped. All right. I'm ready. We got unanimity.
Social Security off the books, but what about retirement IRAs and?
Social Security and Medicare are a lifeline for millions of seniors. Americans have to pay into them from the very
that
first
what she
paycheck
was-
they started. So tonight, let's all agree, and we apparently are. Let's stand up for seniors.
Because she looked like Elsa.
Stand up and show them. We will not cut Social Security. We will not cut Medicare. Those benefits belong to the American people. They earned it.
Yeah.
If anyone tries to cut Social Security, which apparently no one's going to do,
The Republicans haven't been threatening to do that
anyone
either.
tries to cut Medicare, I'll stop them. I'll veto it. And look, I'm not going to allow them to be taken away. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. But apparently
Wait.
it's not going to be a problem.
Crazy. What did you see that I
Next
missed?
month,
We got to
when I
cut
offer
back
my
to
fiscal
her.
Plan, I asked my Republican friends to lay down their plan as well. I really mean it. Let's sit down together and discuss our mutual plans together.
BJ,
Let's do that.
how are you?
I can tell you, the plan I'm going to show you is going to cut the deficit by another $2 trillion. And it won't cut a single bit of Medicare or Social Security. In fact, we're going to extend the Medicare Trust Fund at least 2 decades. Because that's going to be the next argument. How do we keep it solvent, right? Well, we'll not raise tax on anyone making under 400 grand, but we'll pay for it the way we talked about tonight by making sure that the wealthy and big corporations pay their fair share. Look. Here's the deal. They aren't just taking advantage of the tax code. They're taking advantage of you, the American consumer. Here's my message to all of you out there. I have your back. We're already preventing Americans from receiving surprise medical bills, stopping $1 billion surprise bills per month so far. We're protecting seniors' life savings by cracking down on nursing homes that commit fraud endanger patient safety, prescribe drugs that are not needed. Millions of Americans can now save thousands of dollars because they can finally get a hearing aid over the counter without a prescription. Look,
When he moves his hands, he doesn't move his fingers.
Right, yeah, they're very much sort of stiff, but
it's extortion. It's exploitation. Last year, I cracked down with the help of many of you on foreign shipping companies that were making you pay higher prices for every good coming into the country. I signed a bipartisan bill that cut shipping costs by 90%, helping American
Bertie says he has his own back.
Let's finish the job. Pass the bipartisan legislation to strengthen,
a great show.
strengthen antitrust enforcement.
I enjoyed that one.
And prevent big online platforms
I don't think I ever
from giving
finished
their
it,
own
though.
products an unfair advantage. My administration is also taking on junk fees, those hidden surcharges too many companies use to make you pay more. For example, we're making airlines show you the full ticket price up front, refund your money if your flight is canceled or delayed. We reduced exorbitant bank overdrafts.
is that why everybody's fighting in the aisles, though?
$1 billion a year. We're cutting credit card late fees by 75% from $30 to $8. Look, junk fees may not matter to the very wealthy, but they matter to most other folks in homes like the one I grew up in, like many of you did. They add up to hundreds of dollars a month. They make it harder for you to pay your bills or afford that family trip. I know how unfair it feels when a company overcharges you and gets away with it. Not anymore. We've written a bill to stop it all. It's called the Junk Fee Prevention Act. We're going to ban surprise resort fees that hotels charge on your bill. Those fees can cost you up to $9
Are these really
a
the
night in
things that we're
hotels
worried about right now?
Even resorts.
Like, seriously.
Not at all.
I'd like,
I've not heard any word about inflation.
oh no, the inflation doesn't exist. They've said that over and over again.
If you decide to switch to another
Grocery
provider.
store bills.
Give me a break.
Yeah, no,
Nothing
it's
like that.
no.
We can stop service
No.
fees on tickets to concerts and sporting events and make companies disclose all the fees up front. And we'll prohibit airlines from charging $50 round trip per family just to be able to sit together. Baggage fees are bad enough. Airlines can't treat your child like a piece of baggage.
What is he talking about? Wait, I thought companies had the right to do whatever the fuck they wanted to. That's what Telescope keeps telling me. What when did, you know, like Joe start caring about what the airlines charge? Isn't that capitalism? Isn't that how the system works?
We're beginning to restore the dignity
Except
of work.
it would be government overreach on everything.
I
Well, it all becomes government at some point when the government has its hand and there's only 1-2 companies left. What is the point? It's
30 million. So a cashier at a burger place can't walk across town and take the same job at another burger place and make a few bucks more. It just changed. But they just changed it because we exposed it. That was part of the deal, guys. Look it up. But not anymore. We're banning those agreements so companies have to compete for workers and pay
Not
them
a
what
good
they're
look
worth.
when the president of the United States argues with the opposing party during a major televised speech.
No. These people, they don't talk. They don't talk.
Nope.
It's so divided.
With the right. I'm so sick and tired of companies breaking
With the
the law
right, he
by
said.
preventing workers
And
from
then,
organizing.
like,
Pass the PRO Act.
pass the
Because
PRO
workers
Act.
have a right. Workers have a right to form a union.
Yeah.
And let's guarantee all workers have a living
Unions
wage.
don't help the workers. I got
Sure,
evidence of
working
that.
Parents can afford to raise a family with sick days, paid family medical leave, affordable child care.
Imagine if every business, every manufacturing, every employee in this country was a part of a union. And the unions basically destroy business.
We increase productivity. We increase economic growth. So let's finish the job.
You know, is that
more
is
families
that
access
the
to affordable quality
pathway to,
Let's get
you know,
seniors
this
who wanna stay in their
socialist
homes, the care they need to do so. Let's give
agenda?
more breathing room to
Like,
millions of
why do they
families,
keep?
caregivers looking after their loved ones? Pass my plan so we get seniors and people with disabilities the home care and services they need, and support the workers who are doing
The whole
We
purpose
went from
of
airlines to home
These
care.
plans are fully paid for, and we can afford to do them. Restoring the dignity of work.
Did I
means
miss
making
something in there? We
education
went from
an
airlines
affordable
to home
ticket the
care.
middle class. You know, when we made public education 12 years ago,
Shirley, you and I are in the
last
same
century,
boat, apparently.
we made the best educated, best paid. We became the best educated, best paid nation in the world. The rest of the world's caught up. It's caught up. Jill, my wife, who teaches full time, has an expression. I hope I get it right, kid. Any nation that out-educates us is going to out-compete us. Any nation that out-educates is going to out-compete us. Folks, we all know 12 years of education is not enough to win the economic competition of 21st century. We want to have the best educated workforce. Let's finish the job by providing access to preschool for 3 and 4 years old. Studies show that children who go to preschool are nearly 50% more likely to finish high school and go on to earn a 2 or 4 year degree, no matter their background they came from. Let's give public school teachers a raise.
I still believe in less government. I'm sorry.
By reducing student debt, increasing Pell Grants for working and middle-class families. Let's finish the job and connect students to career opportunities starting in high school. Provide access to 2 years
Hey,
of
Deborah.
community college. The best career training in
They
America.
look like
in
they're at
addition to
a
being
concert and they're
pathway to
gonna
a
jump
four-year
on
degree.
stage.
Right.
Let's offer every American a path to a good career, whether they go to college or not. And folks, in the midst of the COVID crisis, when schools
I want to
were
know who this
closed
group is down in front of the
and we were
the
shutting down
Republicans.
everything, let's recognize how far we came in the fight against
Are
the
they like the
pandemic itself.
clerks that run the?
While the virus is not gone, thanks to the resilience of the American people and the ingenuity of
I didn't see 'em.
Ultimate Podcast. That was
COVID deaths are down by
amazing clip.
90%.
That was an
Saving
amazing
millions
clip
of lives
and
opened
claim.
up
50% of the women who work for me are
Soon
women.
we'll end the public health emergency. But that's called a public health emergency. But we'll remember the toll and pain that's never going to go away. More than 1 million Americans lost their lives to COVID. 1 million. Families grieving. Children orphaned. Empty chairs at the dining room table constantly reminding you that she used to sit there. Remembering them, we remain vigilant.
Where's he going?
We still need to monitor dozens of variants and support new vaccines and treatments. So Congress needs to fund these efforts and keep America safe.
He did, Deborah.
And as we emerge from
It
this
was
crisis
unbelievable.
stronger, we're also got to double down on prosecuting criminals who stole relief money meant to keep workers and small businesses afloat.
What about all the millions and millions of dollars? I've been literally sitting here watching how they're spending all the COVID money to buy new, police vehicles and all the bullshit they're wasting money on in Hagerstown
During that campaign, the big issue was about
that they got from
installing
COVID.
Right.
And it's I'm like, how? Send that money back. It's the American people's money, and they're just like they're funding all these projects, and it makes no sense to me whatsoever.
I told you the watchdogs are back. Since then, we've recovered billions of taxpayers' dollars. Now let's triple the anti-fraud strike force going after these criminals, double the statute of limitations on these crimes, and crack down on identity fraud by criminal syndicates stealing billions of dollars from the American people. And the data shows that for every dollar we put into fighting fraud, the taxpayers get back at least 10 times as much. It matters. It matters. Look, COVID left its scars, like the spike in violent crime in 2020, the first year of the pandemic. We have an obligation to make sure all people
Neither can we, Nina, but that's why we're in this together, because it's important to hear for yourself, I think, and you know, we're having fun with
Join
it.
us tonight are the parents of Tyree Nichols. Welcome.
Oh,
Your son died, so
the
let's put you on national display.
yeah.
As many of you personally know, there's no words to describe the heartache or grief of losing a child. But imagine if you lost that child at the hands of the law. Imagine having to worry whether your son or daughter came home from walking down the street, playing in the park, or just driving a car. Most of us in here have never had to have the talk that brown and black parents have had to have with their children. Bo, Hunter,
I give
Ashley,
that
my
to the
children.
white kids too.
I never had to have the talk with them. I never had
Yeah.
to tell them if a police officer pulls you over,
You should.
turn your interior lights on right away.
You should. It's a practice that's safe
Don't
for
reach your
everyone.
license. Keep your hands on the
Yep.
steering wheel.
Fucking idiot this guy is.
Imagine having to worry like
It's
that
not a
every
black
single
brown
day
only thing. It's everybody
you
needs
got in
to
the car.
do things in a way.
Here's what Tyree's mother shared with me when I spoke to her. When I asked her how she finds the courage to carry on and speak out. The faith of God, she said her son was, quote, a beautiful soul, and something good will come of this. Imagine how much courage and character that takes. It's up to us, to all of us. We all want the same thing. Neighborhoods free of violence. Law
Yeah.
enforcement
He's so
that
confused.
earns the community's trust. Just as every cop when they pin on that badge in the morning has a right to be able to go home at night, so does everybody else out there.
The people he
Our children
has his speeches written
have a
by
right to
wanted to
come home
fund
safely.
and eliminate police.
Equal protection under the law is a covenant we have with each other in America.
The hell is that? Put your fucking hands together. You feel good about something. This stick thing.
Night and day.
Whoa.
And we know we ask them in many cases to do too much to be counselors, social workers, psychologists, responding to drug overdoses, mental health crises, and so much more. In one sense, we ask much too much of them. I know most cops and their families are good, decent, honorable people, the vast majority.
No.
But they risk
Cane slap. Hang on. It's too far away. I
and they
got a
risk
cane
their
out.
lives
You get my cane out and
every
do a
time
cane
they
slap.
put that shield on. What happened to Tyree in Memphis happens too often. We have to do better. Give law enforcement the real training they need. Hold them to higher standards. Help them succeed in keeping us safe. We also need more first responders and professionals to address the growing mental health, substance abuse challenges. More resources, reduce violent crime and gun crime.
I can't imagine why people have mental health and substance abuse challenges at this, stage in our existence. Keep
I'm
smiling.
still trying to
It's-
make the connection
Help
that he
prevent violence
has.
in the first place. When
Go
police
ahead.
officers,
No, go.
the police departments violate the
Like,
public trust.
there's no like
They must
complete
be
thoughts
held
in his
accountable.
speech. It just he's like talking about police officers, and then he goes into substance abuse, and like there's no like clear definite things. He's talking
No, of course
about
not.
racism, and then
That's
like,
every
it doesn't make
Democrat
any
I've talked
sense, but
to.
yet they're
Yeah.
I signed an executive order for all federal officers, banning chokeholds, restricting no-knock warrants, and other key elements of the George Floyd Act. Let's commit ourselves to
Just
make
take
the
away
words
all the
of Tom's
cops.
mom
I'm
true.
ready.
Something good must come from this.
I'm ready. We can protect ourselves, right?
And all of us. All of us.
If you get rid of the cops, you got to get rid of the judges, right?
the judges.
All of the judges.
Folks, it's difficult.
Open the borders. Just have a free for all. Let let everybody live their lives.
We can't turn away. Let's do what we know in our hearts that we need to do. Let's come together to finish the job.
Amber, that's a big part of it.
Do something.
There's nobody parenting anymore. There's nobody teaching the children respect. There's nobody having respect for each other. Heck, half the time, I don't know that we have respect for each other either.
Thank God we did.
And you know who I'm talking about. But
Passing the most sweeping gun safety law in 3 decades. That includes things like that
That's
the
an interesting way
majority
to
of
put it,
responsible
Shirley.
gun owners already support. Enhanced background checks for 18 to 21 years old. Red flag laws, keeping guns out of the hands
No
of
red
people who are a
flag laws.
danger to themselves and others. But we know our work is not done. Join us tonight is
Scott.
Brandon Say, a 26-year-old hero. Brandon put his college dreams on hold to be at his mom's side. His mom's side when she was dying from cancer. And Brandon
His hand also
now
looks
works in
weird.
a dance studio started by his grandparents. And 2 weeks ago, during the Lunar New Year celebrations, he heard the studio door close. And he saw a man standing there pointing a semi-automatic pistol at him. He thought he was going to die. He thought about the people inside.
Joe doesn't even know what the fuck the gun is. A Mac 10, Joe.
Semi-automatic
Semi-automatic
pistol away from the gunman who had already killed 11 people in another dance studio.
Yeah, this kid was a hero.
He saved lives.
Yeah.
It's time we do the same. Ban assault weapons now.
Shut up, Joe.
Ban them now.
Joe doesn't even know what an assault weapon is.
Once and for all.
Nope.
I led the fight to do that in 1994. And in 10 years, that ban was law and mass shootings went down. After we let it expire in the Republican administration, mass shootings tripled. Let's finish the job and ban these assault weapons. And let's also come together on immigration. Make it a bipartisan issue once again. We now have a record number of personnel working to secure the border, arresting 8,000 human smugglers, seizing over 23,000 pounds of fentanyl in just the last several months. We've launched a new border plan last month. Unlawful migration from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela has come down 97% as a consequence of that. But American border problems won't be fixed until Congress acts. If we don't pass my comprehensive immigration reform, at least pass my plan to provide the equipment and officers to secure the border.
Wait.
And a pathway to citizenship for dreamers, those on temporary status, farm workers, essential workers. Here in the People's House, it's our duty to protect all the people's rights and freedoms. Congress must restore the right. Congress must.
What are they
restore
yelling at
the
him?
right that was taken away in Roe v. Wade.
They
and
yelled
protect Roe
order,
v.
but it
Wade.
was because there was an interruption. I don't know what that interruption was.
Give every woman a consular right. The Vice President and I are doing everything to protect access to reproductive.
No, it looks like glasses.
and safeguard
It
patient
looks like
safety.
water and
Already
glasses
more
or
than a
some
dozen
sort of
states are
horn,
enforcing extreme
maybe?
abortion bans. Make no mistake about it. If Congress passes a national ban,
Yeah,
I will veto
it's like it holds glasses and water
Let's also pass.
like a service set in
Let's
front of
also
McCarthy.
Pass the Bipartisan Equality Act to ensure LGBTQ
He can't say.
Americans, especially transgender young people, can live with safety and dignity. Our strength. Our strength is not just the example of our power.
What was that movie where it's like futuristic and it's the kids are all battling for what food for their colonies, and what was that series of movies
A murderous assault.
with the bird?
Images of death and destruction.
Yeah,
Europe suffered
it's
in
the
World War
bird.
II.
It was
Putin's invasion has been a test.
they wore all the
for the
strange,
ages.
crazy outfits
Test for
and
America. A test for the world.
the yellow
You're
pillow.
talking about the
Will we
Hunger
stand for the
Games?
most
Hunger
basic of
Games, yeah.
principles?
The yellow
Will
dress
we
looks
stand for
straight out of
sovereignty?
Hunger Games.
We stand for the right of people to live free of tyranny. Will we stand for the defense of democracy? For such defense matters to us because it keeps peace and prevents open season on would-be aggressors and threatens our prosperity. 1 year later, we know the answer. Yes, we would, and we did. We did.
We did, damn it. We did. We really did.
And together, we did what America always does at our best. We led.
Looks
We
like you just
united
skipped a
NATO.
whole bunch of
We
pages.
built a global coalition. We stood against Putin's aggression.
Didn't he?
We stood with the Ukrainian people tonight.
I think so.
We're once again joined by Ukrainian's ambassador to the United States. She represents not just her nation, but the courage of her people. Ambassador,
Who's Columbo next to
our
her?
ambassador is here. United, we're united in our support of your country.
What's he doing wearing a hat
Stand
in
so we
the
can all take a look at you.
building there?
Thank you.
Yeah, it's kind of a faux pas.
Because we're going to stand with you as long as it takes. Our nation is working for more freedom, more dignity, more peace, not just in Europe, but everywhere.
Sure.
Before I came to office, the story was about how the People's Republic of China was increasing its power and America was failing in the world. Not anymore.
No,
We made
McCarthy's
clear, and I
not
made
going to rip
clear
up
in my
his
personal
speech. That
conversations
was the
with them
that
many,
was the
with President Xi, that we seek competition.
you know
not
that was
But I will make no apologies that we're investing and to make
that was
America
quite a
stronger.
move by Nancy.
Investing in
I
American
guess.
innovation and industries that will define the future that China
He
intends
sure
to be
did, didn't he,
dominating.
Billy?
Investing in our alliances.
Absolutely,
And working with
Walter.
our allies to protect advanced technologies so they will not be used against us. Modernizing our military to safeguard stability and deter aggression. Today, we're in the strongest position in decades to compete with China or anyone else in the world. Anyone else in the world. And I'm committed. I'm committed to work with China where we can advance
Is that
American
typical
interests and
for the
benefit
military to
world.
be
But
there? I
make
thought-
no mistake about it.
Yeah,
As
all
we
the
made
Joint Chiefs of
clear
Staff.
last week, if China
Right,
threatens
and
our
then
sovereignty,
the justices
we will
also
act
show
to
up
protect
too,
our
right?
country, and we did.
Yes, they do, as well as all of the cabinet ministers,
Yeah.
except for one.
Look, let's be clear. Winning the competition should unite all of us. We face serious challenges across the world. But in the past 2 years, democracies have become stronger, not weaker. Autocracies have grown weaker, not stronger. Name me a world leader
White
who
rage,
changed
Billy.
places with Xi Jinping. Name me one.
Name
Name me one.
Look at that, Angry Joe.
America's
Now
willing
he's
in the world
yelling.
to meet those challenges
Yeah.
from climate to
Go from
global
yelling
health,
to screaming.
food insecurity, to terrorism,
To
to territorial aggression. Allies are stepping up, spending more, and doing more. Look, the bridges we're forming between partners in the Pacific and those in the Atlantic, and those who bet against America are learning how wrong they are. It's never, ever been a good bet to bet against America. Never. Well, when I came to office, most assured that bipartisanship assumed was impossible, but never believed it. That's why a year ago I offered a unity agenda to the nation as I stood here. We made real progress together. We passed a law making it easy for doctors to prescribe effective treatments for opioid addiction.
No, feeling he's gonna whisper some more.
the gun safety law, making historic investments in mental health. We launched the ARPA-H drive for breakthrough in the fights against cancer, Alzheimer's, and diabetes, and so much more.
That's what it is, Troy. It was killing me. I was like, what the?
Heath Robinson PACT Act,
Thank you.
named after
Thank
the
you very
late
much.
Iraq War veteran whose story about exposure to toxic burn kits I shared here last year.
Yeah, Joe had nothing to do with it on Kerry.
I understand something about those burn pits, but there's so much more to do. We can do it together. Joining us tonight is a father named Doug from Newton, New Hampshire. He wrote Jill, my wife, a letter, and me as well, about his courageous daughter, Courtney. A contagious laugh, his sister's best friend, her sister's best friend. He shared a story all too familiar to millions of Americans and many of you in the audience. Courtney discovered pills in high school. It spiraled into addiction and eventually death from a fentanyl overdose. She was just 20 years old. Describing the last 8 years without her, Doug said, "There's no worse pain." Yet their family has turned pain to purpose, working to end the stigma and change laws. He told us he wants to start a journey toward American recovery. Doug, we're with you. Fentanyl is killing more than 70,000 Americans a year. Big, you got it.
They need to work on their microphones for that room. I want to hear.
So let's launch a major surge to stop fentanyl
And they're not showing what's going on either.
No, they're not.
With more drug detection machines, inspection cargo, stop pills and powder.
Who's in charge of the cameras? That's what I want to know.
It's usually a feed inside the house that comes from usually like what is it?
C-SPAN.
Second, let's do more
C-SPAN,
mental health,
yes.
especially
Yeah.
for our children. When millions of young people are struggling with bullying, violence, trauma, we give them greater access to mental health care at their schools. We must finally hold social media companies accountable for experimenting or running children for profit. It's time to pass bipartisan legislation.
I know what he meant, though.
Data on our kids and teenagers online. Ban targeted advertising to children and impose stricter limits on the personal data that companies collect on all of us.
He said
Third,
ban
let's do more to keep this nation's ones
targeted
who have
advertising
sacred
on our
obligation
children.
to equip those we send into harm's way and care for them and their families when they come home. Job training, job placement for veterans and their spouses as they come to return to civilian life. Helping veterans afford the rent, because no one should be homeless in America, especially someone who served the country. Dennis McDonough is here, of the VA.
McDonough?
We had our first real discussion when I asked him to take the job. I'm glad he did. We were losing up to 25 veterans a day on suicide. Now we're losing 17 a day to the silent scourge of suicide. 17 veterans a day are committing suicide. More than all the people being killed in the wars. Folks, VA is doing everything it can, including expanding mental health screening, proven programs.
I always start asking if that's why they're killing themselves.
Help other veterans understand what they're going through, get them the help they need. We got to do more. And fourth, last year, Jill and I reignited the cancer moonshot that I was able to start with President Obama asked me to lead our administration on this issue. Our goal is to cut the cancer death rates at least by 50% in the next 25 years. Turn more cancers from death sentences to treatable diseases. Provide more support for patients and their families. It's personal to so many of us in this audience. Joining us are Morris and Candice, an Irishman and the daughter of immigrants from Panama. They met and fell in love in New York City and got married in the same chapel Jill and I got married in New York City. Kindred spirits. He wrote us a letter.
It's got to be the
about his
microphone.
little daughter Ava, and I saw her just before I came over. She was just a year old when she was diagnosed with rare kidney disease, cancer. After 26 blood transfusions, 11 rounds of radiation, 8 rounds of chemo, 1 kidney removed, giving a 5% survival rate. He wrote how in the darkest moments he thought, if she goes, I can't stay. Many of you have been through that as well. Jill and I understand that like so many of you. And he read Jill's book describing our family's cancer journey and how we tried to steal moments of joy where we could with Bo. For them, that glimmer of joy was the half smile of their baby girl. It meant everything to them. They never gave up hope. Little Ava never gave up hope. She turns 4 next month. They just found out Ava's beating the odds, is on her way to being cured of cancer. And she's watching from the White House tonight and she's not asleep already. For the lives we can save. For the lives we can save and the lives we've lost, let this be a truly American moment that rallies the country and the world together and proves that we can still do big things. 20 years ago, under the leadership of President Bush and countless advocates and champions, he undertook a bipartisan effort through PEPFAR to transform the global fight against HIV/AIDS. It's been a huge success. He thought big, he thought large, he moved. I believe we can do the same thing with cancer. Let's end cancer as we know it. Cure some cancers.
What the hell's Bono doing?
Once and for all.
Oh, he's sitting next to the Ukrainian.
There's one reason why we've been able to do
Oh,
all
he's
these
a
things.
guest.
Yeah.
Our democracy itself. It's the most fundamental thing of all. With democracy, everything's possible. Without it, nothing is. The last few years, our democracy has been threatened and attacked, put at risk, put to the test in this very room on January the 6th. And then just a few months ago, an unhinged big lie, assailant unleashed a political violence, the home of the then Speaker of the House of Representatives.
Oh my
Using the
God!
very
Come on,
same
Joe.
language the insurrectionists used as they stalked these halls in January 6th. Here tonight in this chamber is a man who bears the scars of that brutal attack, but is as tough and as strong as these.
Oh, that's Fedora Man.
My friend Paul Pelosi. Paul, stand
I didn't
up.
recognize him.
That's Paul Pelosi. Oh my gosh.
But such a heinous act should have never happened. We must all speak out. There's no place for political violence in America. We have to protect the right to vote, not suppress that fundamental right. Honor the results of our elections, not subvert the will of the people. We have to uphold the rule of law and restore trust in our institutions of democracy. We must give hate and extremism in any form no safe
The
harbor.
gaslighting is astronomical. It's unreal.
Democracy
It's every single
must
day,
not be
though.
a partisan
Oh,
issue.
it's truly,
It's an American issue.
it's truly unbelievable.
Every generation of Americans has faced a moment where they have been called to protect our democracy, defend it, stand up for it.
He got the little
This
mini
is our
flask.
moment. My fellow Americans, we meet tonight at an inflection point. One of those moments that only a
Hammer
few
horror.
generations ever face, where the direction we now take is going to decide the course of this nation for decades to come. We're not bystanders of history. We're not powerless before the forces that confront us. It's within our power of we the people. We're facing the test of our time. We have to be the nation we've always been at our best. Optimistic, hopeful, forward-looking. A nation that embraces light over dark, hope over fear, Unity over division, stability over chaos. We have to see each other not as enemies.
He rushes through it, and then he doesn't get the words out.
The only nation in the world built on an idea.
He's been slurring a lot,
The
though,
only one.
in the last few minutes.
Yeah.
Other nations
There's a
are
crayon.
defined by
Again.
geography, ethnicity. But we're the only nation based on an idea that all of us, every one of us, is created equal in the image of God. A nation that stands as a beacon of the world.
But what's a nation?
nation.
A nation has
in a new age
borders.
of possibilities.
We don't have borders right now.
So I've come to fulfill my
So which is it,
constitutional
Joe?
obligation
What do you want?
to report in the State of the Union. And here's my report. Because the soul of this nation is strong, because the backbone of this nation is strong, because the
what?
people of this nation are strong, the State of the Union is strong.
It's never been more fucked in my entire lifetime.
Yep.
What kind of gaslighting bullshit is this?
I'm not new to this place. I stand here tonight.
No, you've wasted
having
a lot
served
of
as
people's
long as
time in
about
that
any one
place.
of you have ever served here. But I've never been
I kind of
more
want to see the
optimistic
Republican
about our future,
response.
I do
about
too.
the future of America.
I'm looking forward
Just
to
to
it.
remember who we are.
I wonder who's going to do
We're the
it.
United States of America.
haven't heard.
And there's nothing beyond our capacity if we do it together. God bless you all, and may God protect our truth. Thank you.
Ah! Just like, I'm so
Huckabee.
glad. I'm so glad he made it out of there.
Sarah Huckabee Sanders is going to do the response.
Oh. The governor of Alabama, right? Alabama?
Arkansas.
Arkansas.
All right, this is Andrew Kraft here. You have been listening in to
Wow.
President Biden deliver his State of the Union address to the nation, going well over an hour here as he touched on numerous different topics, part of his agenda. But
Wow.
the theme
Very
seems to be,
interesting.
let's finish the job. Of course,
You guys, the commentary. It's where'd we go here? Yeah, it's hard to watch that.
It's
It
really
truly
hard.
is. It's hard to watch the gaslighting. It's hard to. Where'd we go? Hang on. Let me find a good.
I'm lost.
No, I know. I'm bringing you back here. Let's see. No, I don't like that one. There you go. Yeah, no, I find it. I find it difficult, and we're never. You know, I would love to see us start being truthful. I think that's what America needs to do better. But we'll never see that. I don't think it's possible. I don't think it's possible for people to, you know, like, you preach love and peace, but then you go on TV and you do that. That's not love, peace, and unity. You're not the uniter in chief. He's done nothing to unite. He's done nothing to help this country. Something just attacked me. I don't know what it was. I saw it flying around a minute ago. I don't know what. But yeah, I just. I haven't lost hope. I just. I don't know what's going to change it. That's my curious question. He said nothing. Oh no, he talked about Ukraine. He introduced the Ukrainian ambassador to the U.S.
Yeah. Who was sitting next to Paul Pelosi.
Right.
So sorry for her.
We were so busy making fun of the fedora that we didn't realize who it was. I said, who did I say he looked like? He looked like, yeah.
Inspector Gadget, I think.
Well, Inspector Gadget's a good one. He looks a little bit like Gadget. I said Columbo, I think.
Yeah, Columbo. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's something else.
I believe it's 5 minutes after he leaves the chamber that the person giving the rebuttal has to give to start talking. So Sarah has 5 minutes after he leaves the chamber.
Okay. He did not talk about China, not once, Lisa says. Yeah, I don't remember him talking about China at all either.
He would want to avoid that as much as possible.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Oh, Melissa, maybe that's why it crashed. I heard it crashed. But what was up with the crayons? I didn't understand why everybody was wearing crayons. Crayons?
I don't know. I'm looking for them, but I don't know what if I just wasn't looking in the. So the lapel pins were crayons.
Yeah, for the Democratic side mostly.
Let's see.
And Crazy says to check your messages.
Okay, Crazy. Oh, I see. Yeah, they're actually wearing like Crayolas. I don't know what that filter is, Crazy, but it's creepy. It's really strange. All right. I lost my I've lost my mouse again. Why does it never? Oh, I see where it's at. How does it get up there? Okay, now I found it. It's weird because the big TV that has basically the program monitor on it, which is in my camera with the teleprompter, and then the big TV is connected to an Apple TV, and it's kind of an extension of the screen, but what it's doing is it's acting as just a way of sending another monitor, but somehow it's now allowing the mouse to go over there, and then it gets stuck in like some weird, because it doesn't show up. So I just have to be careful. I finally figured out where at least it's disappearing to, but it gets trapped in like a spot on the other screen, I think. It's funny when I look up Democrats wearing crayons, Everything goes to how pearl necklaces went from traditional to political. Gold chains look sexy on all genders, all body types. The tangled chain of social democrats, a gold necklace. Michelle Obama wears vote necklace at Democratic. Kamala Harris pearl necklace has deep symbolism. Vanity Fair. Oh, I found it. What do I do with it?
Let's see.
It's one of those.
All right, I found it.
Stink bugs. So what'd you find?
So they like Patty Murray from Washington, Elizabeth Warren, and other Democratic colleagues wore crayon pens to signal support for federal investment in child care.
Okay.
Some of them wore Ukraine ribbons. Some of them wore an 1870 on them from the Congressional Black Caucus. Some are wearing blue and yellow ribbons for Ukraine.
Okay. I guess I'm down with whatever that means. You know.
I think it's kind of telling that only the Democratic side is wearing them for federal investment in child care.
Well, you know, when you're 31 trillion in debt, what's a little more debt? You know, it's an investment in our future.
At this point.
It's an investment in our future. Yeah. No, it is what it
An investment in our future that we can't afford to pay for.
Sure, right? It's it's tough. You know, it's Jeanette, Kent, I just got your message. We miss you too. Thank you. Yeah, it's painful. It's politics, and it's sad. Politics is truly, I think, the last thing we need right now. I'd really rather watch bald eagles.
Yes.
Honestly, you know, it's nighttime there where the bald eagles are, by the way.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Be 7:30.
Yeah, it's 7:30. Well, mom's had a long day, and she's really been up there on the perch, but she looks quite comfortable in her quite elaborate nest, I would say. Pretty amazing how it's all.
She did get an extra stick as well.
Yeah, you saw that. Yeah, he kind of he was a little rough with the stick coming in, but a little rough with the stick.
Was that what he yelled, Darlene? Or she yelled, "You liar"?
Darlene, you liar. Where'd that come from?
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Oh.
She yelled, and we couldn't hear.
Is that the rule, Scott? If there's no bill, there's no. I couldn't make out what they were saying on the feed. I guess if I had it louder, but good for Marjorie. Douglas, do I know your friend? keep an eye on that. We're waiting for Sarah Huckabee. Governor Sanders. I forget where we were at in our conversation about books and burning books, but at this point, it just doesn't really seem to matter what books we ban and burn.
But have you ever read The Book Thief?
The Book Thief. I don't think I have. Who's the Book Thief?
It's a book. His first name is Marcus, but then they made it into a movie. Obviously, the book is better, and it's narrated by Death, which makes it very interesting.
Narrated by Death?
Too, and she's, It's a very, very good book.
Okay.
The descriptions on it are very, very good, but they hide a Jew in their basement, and things happen in Nazi Germany.
Yeah.
In the 30s, 40s. But it's a very good book. And they do burn books in it, and she rescues books. And
all right, here. A Clockwork Orange. Now, I would imagine this is the same book I've seen the movie to. Right?
Probably.
Now, I forget how old I was when I saw A Clockwork Orange. Probably not the best for a child, considering the content and whatnot. I don't know what age
I've never
appropriateness.
read it or seen it.
Yeah. Age appropriateness. Certainly not junior high. Due to objectionable language. And from high school classrooms in Westport, Massachusetts, Maine. Because of objectionable language. The Awakening.
Nope.
Yeah.
I've read Salman Rushdie, but not the Satanic Verses.
All right. Here's Salman Rushdie, Satanic Verses. Of course, banned all over the place. Let's see. Challenged in Wichita, Kansas. 1991. In separate instances, Hitoshi Igarashi, the Japanese translator, was stabbed to death, and its Italian translator, Ettore Capriolo, was seriously wounded. In 1993, William Nygaard, its Norwegian publisher, was shot and seriously injured.
Well, he was attacked too. I believe it was in New York that he was stabbed. Was it?
I don't know that he's recovered from that.
No, they said it was going to take years if he ever recovered.
Sons and Lovers. Smutmobile. 1961. That's the only but this is the Band and Challenge Classics. These were the 176 books that were removed from Florida school districts, but I think they're just I don't believe that these books have been removed, let alone called out specifically. I think that they're just, adding these books to the growing list because I think they feel like, we can't argue about the, gender studies of children, but these classic works, if we put those in there, it'll legitimize our argument. because we've come a long way since most of these issues that people had, you know, in the 49, right? We wear two-piece bathing suits. Women do, you know. We've normalized an awful lot of things, and I think we're almost past the ideologies that are in these books and the teachings in these pieces of literature. But 2/7/23. That was today, but this was not written today, so that's just that was when I saved it as a PDF. Of course, also keep in mind, notice the first thing they want is a donation.
Yep.
You know, all of these groups, that's the first thing that comes up. That was on the SPCA, no, the NAACP website. What was that we were looking at earlier? I forget. Their first thing was, you know, give us donation, give us money, so we can keep, you know. But these were the most banned books. Now, so this was the Ron DeSantis. Triumph is the blueprint for recapturing woke institutions across the country. And reads, in his long career as conqueror, the greatest victory Napoleon Bonaparte ever won didn't involve a battle at all. In the fall of 1805, Napoleon's French Empire went to war with both Austria and Russia in the War of the Third Coalition. Faced with the danger of a vast combined Austro-Russian army overwhelming him, Napoleon had to move fast, and did. His army, carrying almost no supplies, attacked Austrian territory at the peak of the harvest, living off the land and moving at lightning speed. Something's going on. Sorry.
Yeah, I was trying to see whether
LAPD in pursuit, westbound MLK, officer requesting backup. They have the vehicle at Marlton, MLK. Suspects are armed. Okay. I'm reading that and my arm's vibrating all over the place. I'm like, what the heck's going on? Where was I? Let me off the land.
Lightning speed.
Yeah, marching 200,000 men, 500 miles. Still watching for Marjorie Taylor Greene what's her name to come on, but he hasn't left yet. He's just now walking out the door right now. He's coming out the door. He just left the door. The room is now emptying out. Joe just went out the door back here on the left. So we got, 5 minutes until we see... Oh.
Yeah, about 5 minutes it should be.
The American voters, this is...
opportunities to work bipartisanly on healthcare, and Senator Grassley has been
what happened? I
a
thought
pretty
that was...
decent partner with Democrats.
That must have been from earlier. That must have been from earlier. So, okay. We'll keep an eye on it.
I think everyone agrees, whether you talk to a working family or you talk to a small business owner who's trying to make payroll, the cost of healthcare in America, while we have exceptional...
Okay. Gotta stay on that. I want to hear the boss lady. So, marching 200,000 men, 500 miles in a mere 40 days, Napoleon entirely surrounded the Austrian army before his foe, General Mack, even knew where the French were. In 6 weeks, it was all over. Mack and his entire army surrendered without even fighting a real battle. What's going on here? We won't test you more with historical minutiae. But the key principle is easily deduced. as it applies to far more than just warfare. In any battle, whether military or political, speed, surprise, and decisiveness matters far more than mere strength. At this very moment, Ron DeSantis and Chris Rufo in Florida are putting on a master class of this principle in action. The domain of battle is education. A month ago, nobody had ever heard of the New College of Florida, a tiny progressive public college in Sarasota. Of the roughly 340,000 people in the state university system of Florida, the new college has fewer than 700 of them. Now, the school is a national news story because DeSantis' administration is demonstrating that zombie left-wing institutions do not have to live
Sarah's
forever.
starting her speech.
Awesome. Why are we not seeing it? Because they're not showing it on this.
It's on C-SPAN.
Okay.
On YouTube.
To the dangerous border crisis and threat from China, Biden and the Democrats have failed you. They know it, and you know it. And it's time for a change. Tonight, let us reaffirm our commitment to a timeless American idea that government exists not to rule the people, but to serve the people.
Here, here.
Democrats want to rule us with more government control, but that's not who we are. America is the greatest country the world has ever known because we're the freest country the world has ever known, with a people who are strong and resilient. 5 months ago, I was diagnosed with thyroid cancer. It was a hard time for our family, particularly our kids, Scarlett, Huck, and George. But we kept our faith and persevered. Thanks to exceptional doctors here in Arkansas, a successful surgery, and the grace of God, I am cancer-free.
That's awesome.
Through it all, I couldn't help but think about my mom. She was 20 years old and in her first year of marriage, and she was diagnosed with spinal cancer. The doctors told her she might not live, and if she did live, they said she'd never walk again. And if she did walk, she'd definitely never have children. The daughter she was told she'd never have was just sworn in as the new governor of Arkansas and is speaking to you tonight. Adversity and fear of the unknown can paralyze us, but faith propels us to charge boldly ahead. We can't stand still in the face of great challenges. You and I were put on this earth for such a time as this, to charge
That's where all
boldly
the Democrats are
ahead.
yelling, "Crystal fascist."
I'll be the first to admit, President Biden,
She believes in
and I
faith.
don't have
She's
a lot
Crystal
in common.
fascist.
I'm for freedom, he's for government control. At 40, I'm the youngest governor in the country.
Wow.
And at 80, he's the
Wow.
oldest president in American history. I'm the first woman to lead my state, and he's the first man to surrender his presidency to a woke mob that can't even tell you what a woman is. In the radical left's America, Washington taxes you and lights
Wow.
your hard-earned money on fire. But you get crushed with high gas prices, empty grocery shelves, and our children are taught to hate one another on account of their race, but not to love one another or our great country. Whether Joe Biden believes this madness or is simply too weak to resist it, his administration has been completely hijacked by the radical left. The dividing line in America is no longer between right or left. The choice
She's on point, isn't
is
she, Tom?
between normal
Troy,
or
sorry.
crazy. It's time for a new generation of Republican leadership. Upon taking office just a few weeks ago, I signed executive orders to ban CRT, racism, and indoctrination in our schools, eliminate the use of derogatory term Latinx in our government, repealed COVID orders, and said never again to authoritarian mandates and shutdowns. Americans want common sense from their leaders. But in Washington, the Biden administration is doubling down on crazy. President Biden inherited the fastest economic recovery on record, the most secure border in history, cheap, abundant, homegrown energy, fast rising wages, a rebuilt military,
And he
and a world that was
threw it all out the door,
and at peace.
out the
But over the last 2
window with the
years,
bathwater, the baby out with the bath. How's that saying go?
it all. Despite
Baby out with
Democrats'
the bathwater.
trillions in reckless spending and mountains of debt, we now have the worst border crisis in American history. As a mom, my heart breaks for every parent who has lost a son or daughter to addiction. 100,000 Americans a year are now killed from drug overdoses, largely from fentanyl pouring across our southern border. Yet the Biden administration refuses to secure the border and save American lives. And after years of Democrat attacks on law enforcement and calls to defund the police, violent criminals roam free, while law-abiding families live in fear. Beyond our border, from Afghanistan to Ukraine, from North Korea to Iran, President Biden's weakness puts our nation and the world at risk. And the president's refusal to stand up to China, our most formidable adversary, is dangerous and unacceptable. President Biden is unwilling to defend our border, defend our skies, and defend our people. He is simply unfit to serve as commander-in-chief. And while you reap the consequences of their failures, the Biden administration seems more interested in woke fantasies than the hard reality Americans face every day. Most Americans simply want to live their lives in freedom and peace. But we are under attack in a left-wing culture war we didn't start and never wanted to fight. Every day we are told we must partake in their rituals, salute their flags, and worship their false idols, all while big government colludes with big tech to strip away the most American thing there is, your freedom of speech. That's not normal. It's crazy, and it's wrong. Make no mistake, Republicans will not surrender this fight. We will lead with courage and do what's right, not what's politically correct or convenient. Republicans believe in an America where strong families thrive in safe communities, where jobs are abundant and paychecks are rising, where the freedom our veterans shed their blood to defend is the birthright of every man, woman, and child. These are the principles Republican governors are fighting for, and in Washington, under the leadership of Senate Republicans and Speaker Kevin McCarthy, we will hold the Biden administration accountable. Down the street from where I sit is my alma mater, Little Rock Central High. As a student there, I will never forget watching my dad, Governor Mike Huckabee, and President Bill Clinton hold the doors open to the Little Rock Nine. Doors that 40 years earlier had been closed to them because they were black. Today, those children once barred from the schoolhouse are now heroes memorialized in bronze at our State House. I'm proud of the progress our country has made, and I believe giving every child access to a quality education, regardless of their race or income, is the civil rights issue of our day. Tomorrow, I will unveil an education package that will be the most far-reaching, bold, conservative education reform in the country. My plan empowers parents with real choices, improves literacy and career readiness, and helps put a good teacher in every classroom by increasing their starting salary from one of the lowest to one of the highest in the nation. Here in Arkansas and across America, Republicans are working to end the policy of trapping kids in failing schools and sentencing them to a lifetime of poverty. We will educate not indoctrinate our kids and put students on a path to success. It's time for a new generation to lead. This is our moment. This is our opportunity. A new generation born in the waning decades of the last century, shaped by economic booms and stock market busts, forged by the triumph of the Cold War and the tragedy of 9/11. A generation brimming with passion and new ideas to solve age-old problems. A generation moored to our deepest values and oldest traditions, yet unafraid to challenge the present order and find a better way forward. If we seize this moment together, America can once again be the land of the free and the home of the brave. During my 2.5 years at the White House, I traveled on every foreign trip with the president. A trip I will never forget was on December 25th of 2018. My husband Brian and I had just cleaned up wrapping paper that was shoved into every corner of our house, thanks to our 3 kids. When I had to walk out on my own family's Christmas, unable to tell them where I was going that night, because the place I'd be traveling was so dangerous, they didn't want anybody to know that the president was going to be on the ground, even for a few hours. We boarded Air Force One in complete and total darkness. There were no lights on the plane, no lights on the runway. Our phones and
Are you hearing this?
shut
Like,
down and turned in.
this is huge.
We were going
And we kind of
completely
heard this a
off
little
the
bit.
grid. Nearly 12 hours later, in the pitch black of night, we landed in the war-torn part of western Iraq. It was again a similar scene. No lights on the plane, no lights on the runway. The only thing you could see was coming from about a mile away in a dining hall where hundreds of troops who were in the fight against ISIS had gathered expecting to celebrate Christmas with senior military leadership from around the region. They had absolutely no idea that the president and first lady were about to walk into that room. And when they
Wow.
did,
That's
it
an
was a
awesome
sight
story.
and a scene and a sound I hope I never forget. The room erupted. Men and women from every race, religion, and region, every political party, every demographic you can imagine,
Right, Feline?
started
Holy
chanting
cow.
in perfect unison, over and over and over again. USA, USA, USA. It was an absolutely perfect picture of what makes our country great. One of the young soldiers yelled from the back, "Mr. President, I re-enlisted in the military because of you." And the president said, "And son, I'm here because of you." Shortly after, that young soldier came up to me. He said, "Sarah, you have a tough job." I told him, "What I do is nothing. You take bombs and bullets. That's a tough job." And in a moment that I know I'll cherish for the rest of my life, that soldier reached up and he pulled the Brave Rifles patch he wore on his shoulder, and he placed it into my hand, a sign of ultimate respect. And he said, "Sarah, we are in this together." Overwhelmed with emotion and speechless, I just hugged him with tears in my eyes and a grateful heart for our heroes who keep us free. That young man and everyone who has served before him, all of those who serve alongside him, and the thousands we know who will be called upon to serve after him, deserve to know they have a country and a community back home doing our part in the fight for freedom. America is great because we are free. But today, our freedom is under attack, and the America we love is in danger. President Biden and the Democrats have failed you. and it's time for a change. A new generation of Republican leaders are stepping up, not to be caretakers of the status quo, but to be change makers for the American people. We know not what the future holds, but we know who holds the future in his hands. And with God as our witness, we will show the world that America is still the place where freedom reigns and liberty will never die. Thank you. God bless you, and God bless America.
Wow.
And that was Sarah Huckabee Sanders, the new governor of Arkansas.
Wow.
There's
That was
Little Rock. Now it's your turn. 202 is your.
Because I remember when Trump went, and it was gutsy. Yeah, you know, he did a lot of gutsy things as far as places he went as the president of the United States that were unheard of. The North Korean border, you know, with and met with Kim Jong-un and walked into North Korea. I think was one of the ballsiest moves I've seen a president do. All the others, you know, stood on a platform with binoculars and looked at the Koreans and yeah. I keep hearing fences.
Fence?
Is that I don't know, like somebody closing a fence gate. Is that coming from your camera or is it something on my end that I got playing? Maybe it's just
have anything. I have a cat.
I don't know. Maybe it's the cat, the bell. Maybe it's the bell and the cat that I'm hearing. It's really just, it sounds like a jingling gate. Anyway, now at least I know what it is.
Yeah, it's probably your bell.
Yeah, no, it's exactly it. It just sounds, to me, it sounded just like a fence opening and closing. I'm like, there's no fences around me, so I was trying to figure out what it was. But no, that was a great story, and you know, to understand that they had to go in complete darkness, and that to me, like, you know exactly who made that happen and wanted that to happen. That was just flat out Trump.
Yeah.
That, you know, it's only Trump would be like, this is what I want to do, figure out how to do it. You know,
I think
and
that's what he did too when he talked about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd be curious to know exactly who all was on that flight. You know what I mean? Because there was obviously press there because the press went.
Dan?
What?
What's his name? Dan? Scavino?
Scavino. Oh yeah, the photographer. Wasn't he the press
he was
photographer?
his, like, right-hand guy.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, obviously Sarah Huckabee. Good night, Douglas. Now we all have to end the stream now because Douglas, you know, got out. Douglas, you have to learn the Irish goodbye.
Douglas.
You got to learn the Irish goodbye. I'm a big fan of it personally. Yeah, Kathy, I thought what she said was spot on, and you know, it's for me when you talk about men, women, and children, that's America. It's the people of America come down to just that. You know, it's not all these, you know, it's not naming, you know, groups. It's not, you know, a race thing. It's just the people, we the people. And they hate that. Democrats absolutely hate the fact that it's just that simple. An American flag represents everyone. You don't need this diversity group. You don't need that diversity group and that flag over there. It takes one flag. We're all represented under red, white, blue, and stars. That's it. It's just that simple. And you know, I frankly think anybody who does not want to be a part of that and doesn't believe in that sort of ideology that we're all one, go make some other country great. Do your thing. But, that's just me. We don't need special laws for anyone. We just one law covers everyone. That's the way it should be. So
exactly. Like, I've been watching some like react videos on YouTube of the Paul Harvey description of how the fight at Fort McHenry went down with Francis Scott Key, and it's obviously embellished, but I mean, it's changed so many different minds. Like, just hearing that and then seeing like the reaction of the people of, these people were activists and now they're like crying because they hear the actual background of it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's embellished, but it's still history that they never learned.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's in the Fox Trench. Yeah, I'm curious why she brought up the point that she's the youngest governor and he's the oldest president. Well, what was the purpose of making that analogy or pointing out that fact? Other than, I guess it sort of comes out in the end, right, where she says this is a new brand of leadership, which is how'd she say it? Not protecting the status quo, but the future. And I thought that was an interesting take as well. But
yeah.
Hannity's tearing Biden up. Oh, that should. It's funny. I kind of stopped watching Hannity. I lost it. Like, Hannity became too redundant for me, and I don't know. I got tired of hearing the same thing. I felt like I was watching the same exact show every single night, and same with Ingram. Ingram's good. She's got some points, but Gutfeld's hysterical. You don't think he'll be on tonight?
Said it's usually almost always spot on.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got a good team behind him putting that all together. It's fascinating. Yeah. All right. Well, you know what? I think we're gonna wrap it up for tonight. Hope. Did you have fun tonight hanging out? I had fun hanging out. I'm glad you were here hanging out, and it's fun to be back, and glad you shared it with us.
Glad to share it with you too.
Okay. Well, this time I'm going to hit the right button when I end the show, and I pushed. I was so out of shape with live streaming that I pushed the wrong darn button. So I'm not going to push the wrong button, but I want to thank you guys. Don't forget, there's T-shirts and whatnot up on. Wait, where is it? Oh no, I got it. I have work to do still. I do have work to do, but wait. Where's my button? Oh, here. This is the. What do you think of the new T-shirts?
Don't push the wrong button.
No. What do you think of the designs? You like
what is the one on the far right?
That's the Wizzy's Angel shirt that Gigi
okay.
did. It's I don't know, you'll have to go see it on the website. It's much better, but yeah, no, it's in honor of all the angels, and there's Crazy Carolina helped me with some colors on some of the shirts. She let me know what the summer colors were going to be, and I got more shirts coming. I'm working on a Tucker shirt, not Carlson, but the dog, my buddy, trying to do do a shirt of Tucker, and yeah, I got a couple other designs that I pressed the wrong button. A couple other designs that I'm holding off putting out. We're doing these for right now, and you know, something a little casual, but I'm learning my my art programs, trying to figure it out, but I kept promising and
I like 'em.
being stubborn about it, and you know, so. But where do you get them? You get them at Bonfire, and the link is in the chat here. I'm surprised it's such a big link, but you can go to Bonfire is the only place to get it. You can search WYSIWYG TV on Bonfire. Get the shirts there. There's a link in the chat. I tried to. There's hoodies and tank tops, and I don't know. There's a bunch of options. When will we see you again? Probably tomorrow. I'm gonna be doing more daytime streams and hanging out with you, because one of the things I want to share is just kind of what I do during the day and where I go through and what I'm seeing, and you know, kind of share how these things happen. So, you know, we'll start a live stream, and we'll you know, chit chat and have some fun. Because I feel like I have 1,000,001 things to talk to you about, and there's so much going on. I stumbled across some really interesting anti-fascist websites and interesting conversation. There's 1,000,001 things we can talk about if I can keep focused, and we can do this and have some discussions. But you know, we'll see you tomorrow sometime when I'm up and moving. But we'll open up the studio and just hang out and enjoy the day. So, Hope, thanks again. I appreciate you. For now, I'm going to say goodbye.
Thanks for having me.
I appreciate it.
Yep.
And all right, Wizzy out, everybody. Good night, y'all.
All right, good night.
See ya. She got out quick.